just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. Huge announcement, baby. Huge announcement. This excites me. The Dolphins and KO have got together. They've got together. NDAs have been signed, contracts, everything, you name it, has been signed. And they said, we need to bring some people that can talk utter dribble about rugby league up to our first home game at KO Stadium this year to put on a live show. That is right. We are doing a live show for the Dolphins and KO at KO Stadium on March the 17th. So basically, it's a Dolphins. It's run by the Dolphins. It's limited to only 60 seats, and it's ticketed. So it's an exclusive and premium experience, filled with giveaways, prizes, meet and greet, rolling grazing menu, and access to your own private bar. What you get with it, if you are to purchase a ticket, it's only 60, guys. So, and it's first in, first served. The link will be in the show notes. So get there immediately. As soon as you're hearing this, if you want to come and watch us do a live show in the corporate suite at the Dolphins, because I haven't even got to that bit yet. It is in the corporate suite at the Dolphins, overlooking the game. So you get to watch a live show with all of us, whilst that, you know, when you watch on TV, on KO obviously, and you see that balcony that's overlooking the grounds, that's where the suite is, baby. That's where the suite is. A whole day. It goes from 1 till 7:15. You get entry to, if you purchase a ticket, you get entry into the show. It's a private facility to watch Dolphins vs Dragons. Drink on arrival, plus an additional free drink coupon, grazing menu on arrival, post-live show and halftime show, and access to a private bar. And obviously, we will hang around and dribble and yarn with you. There will also be, at the moment, we're trying to get a current Origin player to come down and be on the show as well. Haven't confirmed him, so I'm not going to say his name so everyone gets angry if he doesn't come, but we're trying to get him, and there's a good chance we will. Plus, we'll also have a Dolphins top 25 NRL player join us as well. So a full live show, the first game at KO Stadium. You'll watch it from your private suite. 60 tickets, that's it. Once they're gone, they're gone. The link is in the description.
Is Tim allowed to come to that? Is he allowed to go to KO Stadium?
Live show minus Tim. Live show minus Tim.
Imagine paying your hard-earned money to go and watch Guru speak. What does this world come to?
I think we should take Finn Williams.
Finn Williams. That's great. That's good from you, Roo. Jeez, you started well this week, mate. Jeez, you started well. Link will be in show notes, guys. Only 60 tickets, guys. Only 60 tickets. So come down, hang out with us to watch the footy, plus get a live show. A big name player as well doing the live show, an interview with them. We'll be talking all things footy, having a Q&A, sitting around having beers after it, all that good stuff. Go to the link in the show notes. What an experience. I'm pumped. Also, just before we get going, CBA shirts still available. So we've basically sold out of all of the blacks except for a few extra larges left. There's literally only a few left. We sold out of 6XL, small and medium in the white. We've sold out of all the black hats, and we've got some red hats left. So guys, go to bloke.shop because they're going quick. And also, these shirts are unbelievable. I'm literally haven't got it out of since I put it on.
I had to pack mine this morning for Vegas. So there's a combine over there. You best know I'll be getting into my work.
Boys, how you been, Guru?
Yeah, good, mate. As I just mentioned, me and Hammy are going on the Kangaroo tour in a couple of days over to Las Vegas. So busy packing and getting ready. Very exciting.
Jimmy?
I'm good, mate. I share a little tale of success for you. Thursday night last week, the mighty Slurms Mackenzie Oztag team into the final of the Shire competition. It was an absolute gut-busting 3-2 victory. We knocked off none other than NRL legends Andrew Fafita and Mitch Brown. Mate, on the buzzer, the hooter had gone. We put a kick through. Fafita's back at fullback, scoops up, nearly runs the field. Thank God the old knees gave way on him finally. And we dug in and we're through our first final ever. So, mate, it's exciting times.
Yeah, nice. We're winners here.
Well, we hope so.
There we go. Hammy?
Yeah, feeling good. Guru mentioned, very honoured to be on the Kangaroo tour. Got the official kit on there as well. So head off tomorrow. It's an emotional time. I promised myself I wouldn't cry on today's show, but we'll see how we go. Time.
So that's their travel kit, but their actual game day kit is it could be anything shirts. So the travel kit, have you still got any left? Or are they gone?
No, they're all sold out.
They're all gone?
Like
all
hotcakes, Kempy.
There you go. Well, I've been great. Thanks for asking. You know, I realised that rugby league season is about, boys, because yesterday, look, you have a firstborn, it's tough. And the missus was a little bit emotional, and she was coming to me for comfort, and I was just giving her all the, it's part of the journey. Yes, it's tough. You're doing fantastic. And then I said to her, "You're a rookie. You're still learning your trade." And I was like, maybe don't say to your wife that just had a child she's a rookie and she's almost basically on her debut. And that's how I know that rugby league season is about you using rugby league analogies to comfort the wife after her first child.
Mate, big weekend for you two, just quietly. Pre-season champions, the Brisbane Broncos.
No, we don't talk about that.
They finally won something. What's
Don't
it
talk
been,
about it.
15 years?
Don't want to
16?
talk about it.
17?
Don't want to talk about it. Because it's literally the worst thing ever. Because now you have the added pressure if you don't go well. Even if you don't win the comp, it's like, oh, what a loser, they won the preseason comp. So we don't talk about
Well, a
it.
bit of an unfortunate stat for you, Kempy. No team that's won the pre-season challenge has gone on to win the actual comp. So something to think about.
Or
there.
make the top 8.
Yeah. So
Well,
stats are against you.
records are made to be broken. Records are made to be broken.
Shout out to the Manly Seagulls and Tom and Eddie too, who went from champions to last, I believe, in a season. Yeah.
Look, shout out. Shout out. You know what? They have to live as Manly fans. That's the biggest punishment. Sorry, Manly fans. Just joking. I love yous. Anyway, rugby league is here and we are aroused. Confirmed? All aroused?
Yeah,
Confirmed?
very aroused.
Very aroused.
Okay, very aroused. Okay, sweet. Didn't fucking sound like it, that's for sure. Let's get straight into it. Before we do, Hammy needs to face a bit of music because this has been brought across my desk this morning. I vomited in my mouth, I swallowed it back up, and then I vomited it all out again. That's how much of disrespect
Too
that
aroused.
this was. No arousal. I was trying to arouse my way through it. You ever vomited with a heart on? It's fucking tough.
Oh my God.
So, this comes across my desk. I've got a hard on. Begin to vomit. Hard on goes. Hammy has been pictured. Not only has he been pictured, look, I would have understood if you just had got the snap and then it was just floating out in the ether. Gets pictured at the Sydney Swans with 2 Sydney Swan players holding a Sydney Swan jersey. Not only does it get pictured, which is like we're at the top of the mountain of rugby league podcasters. And you're at the top of the mountain waving a Sydney Swans flag, then posting it to your social media. You had the audacity to give it to Finn Williams over there.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can you please explain yourself, sir?
Yep, I stand by. And thanks for joining me in the photo there, Finn, as well. Captain of the Swans this year. Looking forward to a great year with the boys. So, hey, yeah, look, I got invited down there. Flynn, as you can see there, he's one of the grubs from Sportsbet. He got invited up to the unveiling of the 150th year Guernsey, which they'll be wearing this year. And he needed a hot date, needed a +1.
Oh.
So he took me along. I'm a proud Sydney Swans member, have been for 20 plus years.
Unbelievable.
I'm an all sports guy. We're an all, this is the biggest sports show in Australia. We're an all sports show here.
We're not AFL.
And in fact, walking around this particular function, great night put on by a great club, No Dickheads Policy, which was great. Wandering around there, ran into Guru's producer, Kat. She was in there as well, keeping an eye out. Ooh. And I would argue, if Guru was doing his due diligence, looking for could be anythings, he should have been down there. There's been a few in the last few years that have slipped through the cracks from other sports during Bulla, basketball. Tom Trebojevic, don't forget, he came through the Swans Academy as well. So I was just out there keeping an eye out for some players who could be anything potentially in the great sport of rugby league as well, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's why he got picked on the Kangaroo tour.
Yeah.
He goes the extra mile.
Oh, so you're okay with him stealing your job?
No, he's part of the team. We're a team over here.
Wow. Well, I just want to officially say, Finn, you can come with me or not come with me. I'm going all the way. I'll die on the hill. Totally okay with leaving the CBAs in AFL to do their own thing.
Yeah, they can have it, mate. And
Yeah.
just to add to that, after copping it from Hammy for a while now, not only does he go out there, get pictured, splash it over socials, but he comes on here and he promotes the Swans and the AFL and goes out of his way. And just to add to that, with that Redcliffe trip coming up, I sort of put a few feelers out. I'm like, boys, may as well make a weekend of it. Let's go up there, have a few beers, watch the races on the Saturday. I said, Hammy, what do you reckon, mate? He goes, oh, sorry, mate, I've got to take the missus out to the AFL. That Saturday night, can't make it.
Oh!
Well, I'll pick you up on a technicality there. It's actually the Friday night in Melbourne. And I am trying to salvage what is left of my relationship after taking my partner to the Marsh Cup at North Sydney Oval on Valentine's Day. So I'm just trying to, keep things in order ahead of a big season ahead. So I'm still very much available for selection for the KO trip. Don't worry about that. But I will need to fly up from Melbourne. So
Look, love does conquer all. So the fact that it all leads back to love,
Yep.
we'll give it a pass.
Yep.
In the face of music referee in this instance,
Yep.
I'll give you a pass because it did all come back to love.
Thank you. And please don't get it twisted. Big signing news at Concord last week. I've renewed as a West Tigers member for it'll be about a 15th year as well. So don't panic.
So thoughts on your CEO coming out and saying you've been faking membership numbers?
Well, I'm not one of those, so don't look at me. He said he'll cop criticism from anyone who pays up as a member. So if I've got an issue, I can go straight to Richo. That's great to know.
You got his number? Give him a
Great
call.
to know. Well, us members, us paying members, we keep in touch. So the door's open with Richo. I've got no qualms about the Tigers. We make the top 16 this year. Very simple.
Could you imagine they don't make the top 16?
Won't happen. Will not happen.
Oh, okay. Time for Bass and Music, brought to you by Sportsbet. Absolute legends over at Sportsbet. As usual, if you're going to punt, you do it with the best in the business. Sportsbet, you do it responsibly. You win some, but you lose more.
Yes. Now, we've got a few things to get off our chest this week. We're going to get our futures for the season ahead.
Ooh.
So I want to get your premiers. I want to get your top try scorer. And I also want a smoky. Now, this can be anything. This literally could be anything. You can choose what you like. We're looking for a little bit of value, hopefully, for the punters out there. But I want to get everyone's futures for the season ahead. These will be back-ended. These will be weighted a little bit more come the end of the season for Face the Music. And then I also want to have a quick look at the games in Vegas as well. But we might start, maybe Kempy, with the premiers for this season.
Broncos.
Yep. Best back in Sportsbet, $4. Guru,
Panthers for me.
$3.75.
Panthers.
$3.75. Matty?
Rabbitohs.
Rabbitohs. Goodness me. Drinking on the job again. $9.50. I'm going to Panthers as well for the 4-peat.
Oh, my
$3.75.
God. Where's the loyalty on this panel? Like, no one coming with me. Unbelievable.
I was thinking Broncos, but those preseason challenge stats don't lie. So I got scared off.
We won it with our reserve grade side.
Yeah, well, enjoy it while you can. Top try scorer. Who we got?
Top try scorer, I am going to go... I'm going to go the great Greggy Marju.
Marju, $12.
Took my bet, huh?
Hey, there's no fucking loyalty on here clearly, so fuck you.
That was intense. I'm also going Greg Marshue.
You can take him, yep.
I also had Greg Marju. I think he's
All
good
right,
value.
I'll change it. We can't all have the same one because that makes it not fun. I will go... You do yours, Timmy, and I'll
Well, I've got Marju, but I've got a smoky as well. It's a real smoky. I'm actually surprised he's not a little bit higher odds, but 46-1, Jackson Paulo. Just on that left wing at Manly, if he nabs that spot and Tommy Turbo stays fit, a couple of years ago was Ruben Garrett, their top try scorer in the comp, him or Saab. Yeah, a real smoky one.
Okay, so you're going to take the smoky, or you're going to go...
I'm taking Marju.
Okay, Marju for you. What about you, Matty?
I'm going to take Coates.
Coates?
Real smoky.
Coates, $26. A little bit of value there, Kempy, which we
All
like.
about value, baby.
I'm going to go Dallin, retains Lesniak.
Dallin, well, you're getting $8.50 there. It's a little bit short from Matty.
Yeah, it's a Timmy bet.
$26 for me, Jason Saab.
Saab.
I think Manly have a decent year. I'm going Jason Saab.
Okay.
All right, now I gave you guys a bit of a blank canvas here for your smoky. So what have you come up with?
Okay, Smokey, Nick Meaney, top point scorer. And I just want to, for the record.
Yep.
So the top point scorers markets were put out a couple of weeks ago. And I reached out and let you know that Nick Meaney will actually be the kicker for the Storm and also that he should be top point scorer. He wasn't even in the market. So my bet for that has actually been placed not in the market. Therefore, I think my odds should be at least 100-1.
I'll get back to you on that. I don't know if I'll get that across the line because he's gone up at 15s. So
Hey, and he went in there because of the great beak putting...
He did go because of you, but I think we're still kind of licking our wounds after some of your big cricket bets got up over the off season.
I would just like to put forward me personally, like not everyone else,
Yep.
like me personally, because I put the bet on when he was in the market,
Yep.
gets 101 odds. Just want to put it
Okay,
out
I'm going to send that to the bunker. I'm going to think about it in Vegas, and I'll come back to you. But I'm putting in Nick Meaney. Don't forget, these are back-ended, and they're worth a lot more anyway. So, who have you got, Guru? What's your smoky?
The one that caught my eye was off the back of yesterday. I think Scotty Drinkwater is in for a huge season. I think the Cowboys bounce back a little bit. And Kyle Felt at $61 for top try scorer. That left to right cutout that Drinky's got is second to none in this competition. So Kyle Felt, $61 is my smoky.
Yeah.
Top tries.
Nearly had 5 yesterday. Timmy?
Mate, I've gone with, I think the Bunnies can have a big season. I think Trelly Mitt can have one of the best seasons of his career if he can stay on the field. Clive Churchill medal is $21. An early little one on Trell there.
Yep. Don't mind that. What do you got, Matty?
I'd like to put a little multi on, if that's all right. I want to go Xavier Savage, most tries for Canberra into Brian Toto, most tries for Panthers, into Jason Saab, most tries for Manly, which is paying about $21.
I like the initiative there from Matty because you can't do this everywhere. You can't multi your top try scorers from clubs around everywhere, but at Sportsbet, you can. So,
Matty's got a bit of form here too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's had previous successes.
there you go. Okay. Now, my Smoky, $12, top Tigers try scorer, Justin Olam,
Okay.
coming up from the Storm. And I've got a real Smoky here, which I just kind of want to throw out there. We'll clip it up if it gets up. We'll delete it if it doesn't get up. And this would just be very West Tigers. Luke Brooks, I think Manly are a sniff to have a crack at the top 4. Mm-hmm. Luke Brooks for the Churchill, $91.
Could you imagine?
I can't believe how high you all are on Manly.
Oh,
Well, I mentioned it in the preview.
Yeah.
I said that I've got him fishing 5th. I think they can if Turbo stays fit. I just think he's going to have his best year that he's had because he doesn't have to run the show. So anyway,
Okay.
just putting it out there.
Could you imagine Brooksy with a claw around his neck? That's rugby league through and through.
It would be an unreal story.
Be very emotional.
Rugby league through
What's
and
he
through.
at?
91.
There you go.
Yeah. Vegas.
Actually, you know what? Knowing Tigers luck, he probably will.
That's what I'm.
25.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'll just be able to get on the blow to Richo and we'll be able to thrash it out
Just a very civil yarn about
because
it.
I'm a paid up member. That's what you do. I'm showing my stripes this year. All right. Now Vegas. Let's get over to Vegas. We've got 2 games over there. Manly $2.17. The Rabbitohs $1.69. And the Roosters $2.15. The Broncos $1.53. So who are your head-to-head bets, Tippy?
Gone Broncos.
Yep.
And I think Rabbitohs, so many injuries, but I'll go Rabbitohs. Broncos, Rabbitohs.
Okay. Yep. Guru.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rabbitohs in the first one, and let's have some fun. I'm going to take the Roosters in the second one, because fuck you as well, Kempy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable what this show has come to. You be nice to a bloke. This is how you get treated, boys.
How good is it? We got the Guru Kemp Cup round 1 in Vegas.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what's funny? The Roosters fan is going over there,
Yeah.
cashed up.
Yeah.
Broncos guy can't afford it.
Soul of the earth.
Yeah.
Back at the coalface.
Back in the day,
getting the
mate.
podcast done.
Yeah, Roosters guy just here for the people. Here for you guys.
That's literally a sentence that's never been said in the history of mankind.
Unlike the Roo, I actually have some respect for my boss, Kempy, so I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Yes.
And then getting a little bit of an upset. Manly 2-16 outsiders. I think they can get the job done. Just Barney's missing a lot in that back line.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go Brisbane and South.
Yep. I'm going Manly and Broncos.
Tell you what, if you got on Manly a couple of weeks ago as all the injury dominoes were falling for South Sydney, I think they were at about 270.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Manly are a real sniff to win that game.
Yeah.
I think they'll start fast, Manly. I mean, Seabold is a notorious fast starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's it. All the Vegas markers up, all the season markers up. One Vegas marker that did catch my eye was Guru to get his ass spanked at the Heart Attack Grill. It's been absolutely annihilated by our punters. It's odds on now, $1.80. But I think the real values are Guru to get his ass spanked 2 or more times around the $5 mark. So not a real market, but looking forward to Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, how good. And just quickly, before we get into it, we have a survey for bloke fans to participate in. That's right. It really helps us. Basically, we did a survey last year. It was so helpful, guys. It takes 2 seconds, and also it gives us feedback into like what segments you enjoy, you know, what you'd like to see more of, what you don't enjoy, all that kind of stuff, plus a few other questions. It really, it helps us with the show, but also helps us be able to go to sponsors and go, you know, this is what our fans enjoy and don't enjoy, and then we can like tailor content around that. So in the show note, there'll be a link, and we're giving away 5 $100 merch vouchers randomly. So you go on there, you have a chance. Hey, stuff it, I'll make it 8. 8 $100 merch vouchers randomly to people that fill this survey out. It literally takes 5 minutes, and it's a real help to the show, guys. You were incredible last year, and it really helped us for this year. So head to the show notes, click the link. It's really easy, really simple, and it gives us feedback on the show, how we do things, how things flow, but also it helps us go to, you know, partners and say, this is what we've got going on here at the Great Bloke in a Bar. All right, time now for Bloke Beer Team of the Week. That's right, Bloke Beer's Team of the Week. Now, this Team of the Week is just what happened in the preseason challenge. It's not what happened in the World Club Challenge, although guys like Bevan French, Field played really well. A couple of forwards as well in the Wigan side were fantastic.
The ref was outstanding for Wigan as well.
Wow. Typical Aussie bias.
Yeah, well, you know.
That was a 50-50 call that could have gone either way. Okay, at number 1, Drinkwater. At number 2, Ravalawa. I tell you what, Ravalawa last year was outstanding. If he keeps this up, like, he's a gun, absolute gun. It's like you know what? I reckon for the part of his career, he had no mirrors in the house, so he didn't know how big he was. And then they installed them, and he was like, oh shit, I'm actually pretty big. Maybe that's not true. RTS at 3. Holy, the snack is back. 4, Sully. Also, no mirrors in the house. Put mirrors in the house before the trial. Wow, he was good. We had Wilson or Felt on the wing. We had a debate in the green room. Guru tried to fight me. We went Felt.
Yeah.
But Wilson was also incredible.
Kyle for me.
Yeah, Felt? Okay.
Yep.
At 6, we had Pezzett. At 7, Hunt. At 8, Kamakamita. At 9, Grant. At 10, McKaylee. At 11, Catewell. Heap stoked about that. At 12, Sewer. At 13, Bacchetti. Wow, could be anything, this kid. At 14, Hopgood. 15, Lukey. 16, Barnett. 17, Cartwright. It was actually super tough to select the side this week. There were a lot of standouts. Any little standouts there for you boys?
We spoke about Nair Corey in the green room before. I just stole Timmy's player, but I know that he was very good.
Yeah. Now Timmy's got nothing to say. Thanks, Drew.
No, we had an honourable mention as well to Little as well against his old club. Really backs to the wall sort of stuff there, unfortunately. But he was great as well.
Finally getting some game time.
Yep.
We've been saying for ages with Little, just give him some, give him 60, 70 minutes, let him do his magic.
Moment of the weekend, Matty Timoko just giving Val Holmes, one of the best defenders, a bath.
Mate,
Hardly touched him.
I would love to know you can't bet on Dally M. Jesus! I'd love to know what he's... I would love to know what Timoko would be paying for Dally M. I know he'd be an outsider, but I reckon he's in for a big year. Any other boys stand out for you guys? Nanai was great. I thought Nanai was great.
I thought Royce Hunt was good for the Sharks.
Royce Hunt was good. I actually thought the front row rotation for Sharkies was really good. Really good.
Lockie Galvin I had there, probably not worthy of a team of the week, but some good signs. But I'm sure we'll get to that, won't we?
Yeah, only 18 years old. Insane to see him come on. He essentially played 4 positions in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Also, shout out, is it Gorick?
Gorick, the
Gorick?
fullback.
Fullback.
Sounds like he's out of Guardians of the Galaxy. The great Gorick from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Played like a superhero out there at Belmore.
Absolutely did.
Friday.
Had about 1,000 tries, just 1,000 tries. Got a bit of ink too, so he's a young hot boy. Love that. Anyway, he was outstanding. A few of those young Roosters boys. Wow. They say Roosters have no juniors, Roo.
We got heaps, mate.
Good Roosters.
Good Roosters, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's taken longer than it should have, but sure.
That is our team of the week, brought to you by Bloke Beer, the beer of rugby league. Guys, a lot of beers talk about loving rugby league, but no beer loves rugby league the way we do. Okay, let's get into the World Club Challenge review. I watch it on KO. Watch all your rugby league on KO, guys. 4K, all that good stuff. You can watch every game of rugby league on KO. Wigan versus Panthers, 16-12 to Wigan. They get the job done. We'll get the controversial stuff out of the way. Reffing, was really bad. I've also saw reports that he's allegedly from Wigan, the ref, which is also super weird, super strange. That is very anyway. I'm not saying that there was an intentional reason that they didn't intentionally do it. What I'm saying is, you should not have a Wigan ref to remove the question of unconscious bias because he's from Wigan. Yes, were the calls poor? Absolutely. But I think that the biggest takeaway from this game is actually, I thought Wigan were unbelievably brave, and I feel sorry for them because they aren't the ones that ref the game. They didn't ask the ref to make these calls. They worked their dicks off. They beat the Penrith Panthers. They had about 39% of the ball. Penrith Panthers had 61% or something like that. Their defensive efforts was absolutely outstanding. I think that, yes, we can talk about the controversies for sure. Look, I think every Aussie side going over there knows you're not going to get 50-50 calls. Now, they weren't 50-50 calls. They were a bit worse than that. So, yes, the reffing wasn't great. I thought Wigan were unbelievable, though.
Yeah, obviously the refereeing calls sort of dominated the post-game chat, but I agree with you, Kemi. I think Wigan were fantastic. And, mate, even if you get calls that go your way against the Penrith Panthers, it's still hard to beat them.
Look, Cleary dropped the ball in the open.
Yeah.
In a crucial moment. Like, they had opportunities to win the game. Does it make the bad reffing okay? Obviously not. Like, we can all agree reffing was bad. Wigan I thought they were incredible. Like, their defence on their line, the amount of field position that the Panthers had to not get, honestly, 24, 26 points put on you was an incredible effort by Wigan.
I really enjoyed watching this game. They were so gritty and so tough, Wigan. And to be fair, like we expected, nothing less. Completed it was about 86% possession for the game, which is phenomenal. And we know the way Penrith play. They're the ones on with the high completion. They just grind and grind and grind, led by 2 at half time. And you sort of thought, it'll get to the second half. The pressure will be too much. We're going to run out of steam and Penrith will come over the top of them. They threw everything they could at Wigan in that last 20 minutes and could not break them. Yep. Nathan Cleary tried everything that last 5-10 to replicate the grand final heroics. Didn't look like getting through them. Wigan, geez, they were tenacious.
Yeah, totally agree. I thought their defence was outstanding. What do you reckon, Hammy?
Great game. I just couldn't work out, and maybe you guys can explain to me, why they didn't kick the ball in attack for the first.
Because, so obviously, I'm not sure if the new rule is there with the repeat set, but the in goals are tiny.
Yeah.
So basically, the point of doing the chances of landing a grubber in that in goal, in that slippery surface, really low. Also, you could make the argument that Penrith want ball in play as much as possible to fatigue Wigan. So funnily enough, people are criticising the kick, not kicking, and you could argue, okay, they did their first kick and they ended up scoring. Yeah, fair, that's fair, but the point of the kicking was field position and trying to fatigue Wigan. And they actually did achieve those two things. They kept them in their end for most of the game.
Well, if you watch the game, the amount of times Wigan kicked from their own 30 or 35 was disgusting. They were not making any metres out of their own end. Unfortunately, the Panthers gave away a lot of penalties when they were coming out of their own end that piggybacked them out of there. But I personally thought the way the Panthers were defending that they would come over the top at the back end. I think that's what the Panthers thought as well. They just take a lot out of the tank there. Didn't play out that way, but I think that people being critical of that, it's a bit over the top.
Yeah, and also, put it this way, you can be critical of it and say it wasn't the right decision, but it wasn't like Cleary was out there wigging out going, oh shit, what do I do on fifth play? I think it was a measured plan before the game, first 20, let's not kick the ball and see how we go.
And you could see by the body language of the players on every fifth tackle, there was no panic, there was no conversation. They knew what they were doing. It was a plan that they had coming into it.
I think that they genuinely thought, if we keep ball in play as much as possible and bash the shit out of them coming out of their own end, they'll just crumble. Just crumble.
I love the whole spectacle of the game, from the commentary to the fans. England do their sport so well. Just how vocal the fans were, the singing, the chanting. We see it all the time. I don't mind my English Premier League, and it's infamous through that. But even the commentary, I know some people hear commentators and they hate a bit of bias and that. I'm they're English commentators. It's a big game for them, and their passion, the last sort of 10, 15 minutes in particular, when they were just defending their line, losing their mind. I love that passion.
Yeah, well, it's as long as you just got to accept, England in rugby league are the underdog. The Super League is seen as the underdog. So there's always going to be this backs against the wall mentality from the commentators, from the players, from the fans. So I agree with you, mate. As a spectacle, when you take out the performance of the ref, it was an incredible spectacle. Yeah. It was a really enjoyable game of rugby league.
And you try and, as a commentator, you can't have too much bias, at least in your commentary, but you can still have the passion for the team. At the end of the day, they're sitting there. The English commentators, I said it meant a lot to them. They don't want the Panthers to win that game.
No way.
It becomes weird if they sort of push it. If they do, it's
here's a good example. The times when I hear Joey, when New South Wales do something mad and Joey's going off, I love it. And when Queensland, I'll never forget Cam Smith yelling "Go Dozer" when he did, and I'm sure you won't forget it either. Yeah. How good, go Dozer! But I feel I agree with you, Timmy. It does add. Once you accept that there's going to be bias, and that, especially in that environment. Look, if it was week in, week out, I think it would probably start to piss me off. But that one-off game, it's Australia versus England, essentially. I don't mind it.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. It's Australia versus England. We should hate each other.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you want it. Why would you want it any other way?
Joey Johns is filthy after the Blues lose the series or the game, whichever one it was. He was upset. He probably could have been a bit more chipper about it. But you just He's devastated because that means so much to him. I'm like, sweet.
I've got to deal with these. What do you say? Deal with these Queenslanders talking absolute rubbish or something like that for the next 12 months. That's so good. That's why we watch it. Like without that, it becomes sterile and very like robotic. So I thought Wigan were outstanding, and I think that if we can all sit here and go, yep, reffing was terrible. Let's just put that aside because Wigan aren't the ones that told the ref to friggin' do those decisions and appreciate. Wigan did something pretty bloody special. That Panthers team, yes, it is their first game in 6 months. Not obviously, but in my opinion, if they play in 5 weeks, Panthers put a score on them. But that's not the case. That's not the case. They went over there. Panthers they've won 3 comps in a row, and Wigan beat them. It's that simple. And Panthers are arguably the greatest rugby league team of all time. It's really that simple. And you can look for excuses all you want, but at the end of the day, Panthers knew this game was coming up. Wigan knew this game was coming up. They both had, the same amount of time to know that it was going to be there, and Wigan got the job done.
My favourite part of the morning was after the game. My missus woke up and she came out and on Facebook had a picture of the try that they gave. It was a bit dodgy. And she goes, "What the fuck's everyone complaining about? As if that's not a try." And I said, "The in goals are the other side."
Yeah.
Mate, gotcha.
Look, well, we'll speak about it in detail. The reason, the criticism I have for this ref, where I do think that maybe there was a bit of subconscious bias, is how do you send that up as a try when you're not even on the right side of the ball to see whether it went over? But then Taylor May, where it's definitely closer to a try. Like, if you want to say, for example, I think Taylor May was a 50-50. It could go either way. You could say that ball definitely touched the blade of grass, or you could say, you know what, I don't think it did, and you'd be okay with it. But he sends the Wigan one up as a try without seeing it. The Taylor May one, which was more of a 50-50, he was over the line, blah, 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 sends it up as a no try. And it's like, that's when I felt, that's where you can get super critical of his performance. When refs make these 50, for example, the forward pass try, I'm okay with that. Like, that happens. Who gives a shit? Like, that happens all the time. But it's ones where it seems like it's one rule for one team and one rule for the other team, where you're like, hang on a sec, you had time to think about that, and you've given 2 completely different calls for each side.
Yeah.
And when the ref was in that moment where he had to send it upstairs, credit to the crowd over there. It's so much noise and everything. You're going to have those ones fall your way sometimes.
Yeah, just, oh, man.
Is the call of a referee with a chip on his shoulder?
Sorry?
It was the call of a referee with a chip on his shoulder, and a call of a referee from a country that hasn't had an Ashes urn in 13 years.
You reckon he's a big cricket man?
Hasn't won a test match in Australia in cricket in 13 years, and I'm not surprised, to be honest. That's what Mon actually said to me when we were watching it yesterday morning, so she's on the same page.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Hammy and Mon have spoken.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Mon's still around after.
She doesn't speak to me much, but she was so pissed off with the referee.
She's a proud Australian.
Yeah, she was pretty fired up, so and rightly so.
Some performances from Wigan. Dry field defensively. I feel like part of the reason why he may have left the NRL was because defensively as a fullback, he had a little bit of shortcomings. I thought it was really cool to see him make those huge plays in defence. They were game-changing plays. You know, if he doesn't make those plays, and Taylor May is looking like a beast at the moment. So for him to get him in a one-on-one tackle, outstanding. Bevan French has always had, super slick attack. He was also outstanding. I'm forgetting his name, but there's a bloke that came on. I think he's 20 years old. He came on, I think maybe with 10 minutes into the second half. Really gave the Wigan side some momentum that they were struggling with.
I think that was Harvey Hill.
Yeah.
Harvey Hill, he was outstanding, especially for a young fella. If I'm an NRL club, I'm looking at, I know it's just one game, but he did go against a forward pack in the Panthers and have some impact. Who stood out for you boys?
I'll tell you who else was good for them, and he's a former Panthers boy, Kate Ellis. The lock forward, played big minutes there, ran for about 180 metres. He was solid.
Mango was all right. Is it Mango or is it Mago? Paddy Mago?
I think it's Paddy Mago, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good. The other one that, and he was good in this game without being outstanding, but I cannot believe an NRL club didn't sign Adam Kieran.
Yeah, because he's such a utility as well.
He's so good in so many different positions. Bizarre.
I think it just comes down to spots in your top 30 where you go, all right, we've only got 4 spots for a 6 or not even a 6, sorry. We've got 4 spots for a 7. And you go, is he actually a 7? I don't know. We've got this out-and-out 7 that's a young fella. But I agree with you. Surely there's a club that could... Like, he's a great utility.
He can play 1 to 7 and 9 at a high click for me. He's a very good player, Kieran.
Yeah. Timmy, who stood out for you?
It was Bevan French. Yeah, I thought he was tremendous. Like, the talent was always undeniable, and what we saw in the NRL was just putting this form together week in, week out, and obviously making that transition from fullback into the halves. He was the man of steel, player of the year in the Super League last season. But, like, bulked up size-wise, obviously, to make that move to the halves. But, like, in what looked like fairly damp conditions against, as you said, one of the best teams we've seen in a long, long time, potentially ever, the Penrith Panthers, he just looked so unflustered the whole time, looked so composed. His organising was good, his ball playing was good. He was tremendous, and I loved watching the transformation into the halves.
Bevan French is always, as you just said, he's always had the talent. I was definitely surprised when he left the NRL, and maybe he's a victim of, is he a 6, is he a 1? I don't know.
I was super confident he was going to go over to the Super League and kill it as a fullback.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was going to do it as a 5'8".
Yeah, fair. But, yeah, Wigan were outstanding.
How about that little play off the scrum, which he was just offside, but they put the kick in over to the back there and only about that far in it. But unreal, I thought he was great. That also the cutout pass that he threw for the first try to Miski, he was
See, that's
he was
what
elite.
I look at a guy like Bevan French or even Jai Field is like, maybe they're on a really good wicket over there, but I'm like, sorry to say that to you, like at the Raiders, surely they could use a Jai Field or a Bevan French.
Well, mate, unfortunately, I'm not in recruitment at the Raiders, but if we can change that, I'll put some feelers out.
And so maybe they're just on a too good of a wicket, and the Raiders are like, look, we're not going to pay $400,000 to get you back over here. But I look at the NRL, and I just said the Raiders specifically because of the fullback position, but like, surely there are other clubs, like even the Bulldogs when they were recruiting. I know that they ended up getting a few fullbacks, but even then when they were recruiting, surely they could use a guy like Bevan French.
You can even use him in your team at the Swans as well, Timmy.
Can, mate. Yeah, plenty of options.
Panthers. Look, to be honest, I actually thought they looked better than I thought they were going to look. In attack, in good ball, super clunky, nowhere near their best. But just watching their fitness, especially their outside backs, like it is scary. They're genuinely machines. It's like clockwork. It is like clockwork. They just go, as soon as a kick comes across from Wigan, you could just see the system just get straight into place. Like just Brian To'o, huge hit up. Dylan Edwards, huge hit up. Taylor May looks so strong in contact. Taruva, scary stuff.
When you talk about those meters at their own end, you have a look at the Wigan Warriors, and this isn't a negative on them. It just shows how good the Penrith Panthers are at this. Their most metres run by an outside back was Liam Marshall, 135. The least amount of metres run by a Panthers outside back was 136, Taruva, who played 60 minutes. So Dill Edwards went 288, Taruva 136, Isaac Tungo 145, Taylor May 175, and Brian To'o took a day off, 245 minutes.
Quiet day for the big fella. Quiet day for the big fella.
On that note, Jack Cole 152, Nathan Cleary 237.
Yeah. What's the difference between, or big difference between Panthers and a lot of squads, is that we watched a bunch of other teams that have had a couple of trials look a bit all over the shop. What's their game plan? It's all a little bit different. Panthers, literally their first trial together, the game plan and systems are all there at 10 out of 10. Like literally 10 out of 10. Tell me a single other team other than, I definitely don't hate to say it, but I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. The only other team I think got close to that is probably the Warriors that looked like fully in sync, ready to go, systems all in place. It's incredible what the Panthers are doing. And just quietly on top, the quote getting around saying lying's a sin. Just for people that have read that quote, it was a joke. Like if you read it on the paper, the full quote, and also I'm sure when he said it, he's not actually like calling the guy a sinner. It was like it's said in jest, like lying's a sin. You know you didn't score that try, as if me going, bruh, you didn't know you scored that try. It's not a serious quote.
I think one big thing that I took out of that game, the Panthers, their defence is still absolute top shelf. You have a look at the first 2 tries they conceded in that game, down the left edge, missing Sorensen, missing Luai, Taylor May playing his first game at left centre, Taylor May and Taruva defending together for the first time.
Taylor May's first game in like how long? He looked that good.
12 months.
Yeah, and mate, Taylor May might not this year be back to where he was, but he's going to be at a high enough click that they're going to fly with him.
Be interesting now. If I don't know if there's been any word on Taruva's injury yet, but what they do there, if Taruva is out, does May go to the wing, do we think? And then Peachy or whoever it might be comes in at centre?
I don't think Taruva will be long term, but I think he could miss the first 1 or 2 weeks.
Taruva's kind of talking like, there's a chance I could be good for round 1.
Yeah.
I think with where the Panthers are at right now, they'll be super conservative with all injuries. Because the Penrith Panthers have the luxury that no other club has, that is like, if we make the 8, literally, if we just make the 8, we know we can go on a run and literally beat everyone.
Interesting, you bring that up, whether Taylor May plays centre or they shift him out to the wing for a week or two. You've obviously got Tyrone Peachy. I believe Paul Alamotti actually played left centre in reserve grade.
Yeah, I was hearing whispers that that initial coming to play forwards, which is actually exciting for me because it says that he got to the club and probably killed it. And they said, oh, shit, this guy's a bloody good centre. Also, puts pressure on Taylor May to play well, which is, man, he genuinely, if he could be a smoky for centre of the year.
People are forgetting how bloody good he is.
And also, look, Critter, centre of the year. Burton, centre of the year. Like, there's a really good chance Taylor May, with, as you could argue, as much talent as those two boys, he could be Dally M centre of the year. Obviously, it's a smoky, guys, but I wouldn't put it past him. Massive congratulations to Wigan, guys. Like, yeah, for sure. Tough calls, but also Penrith Panthers bombed a couple of tries and had a really low completion rate. I think it was like 65%. So Wigan went out there and did exactly what they needed to do in the conditions that were set for them to get the win. So enjoy it, Wigan fans. Can't wait to play as Australia. Australia versus England, obviously not Australia versus Wigan.
Yeah. We tower Wigan up.
Australia would tower Wigan up.
Yeah.
Am I allowed, do you reckon English fans will get angry at me for that?
I have no doubt they will. Based on what I've seen this weekend, I have no doubt they will. Isn't this game it's just so awkward with where it's placed on the rugby?
I wish it was placed in a better spot.
How do you do it though?
Do you somehow get it in season somewhere? You know what I mean?
But I was talking to English fans and you guys don't take it seriously. I'm like, Penrith haven't played in 6 months. We take it seriously, but it's not. I think at the moment
it's not even close.
It's not and I said to an English fan, I said when we're talking about the greatest players of all time and everything, World Club challengers are not even on the fucking radar.
And that's not to disrespect what Wigan did. We've just sat here and said they were incredible.
Yeah.
But as we spoke about earlier, Super League are the underdogs. Of course they have a chip on their shoulder. Of course they're sick of hearing NRL fans go, oh yeah, Super League, and just hand waving it away. So of course they're going to be like, you know what? When an NRL team comes over here, we're going to show those people that think they're better than us, what we're about. And look, Super League, we've spoken about it before on this show. Super League, the top 4 to 6, could probably play in the NRL. Everything below that, probably not. So we're not sitting here saying it's a terrible league. Just overall, the standard is just not as high as NRL, which is understandable. They don't have the resources. Now, just quietly, NRL whispers about buying Super League. Thoughts?
Yeah, one that sort of came out of the blue for me.
And also, starting an American league, I'm like, where's all this quiche coming from? I want some.
I think you got enough, Kempy. You're doing okay.
Just a battler, mate.
Please. Came out of the blue for me. PBL keeps making waves, huh?
I don't mind it. As long as financially viable, as long as you can look at the business model and go, there is a way to make profit, then I don't mind it. But if the business model is there is no way that we could etch out any sort of profit for the next 5 to 10 years, I'm like, it's really good in theory, but we have so many other things to worry about, like country rugby league, like juniors, AFL. I mean, they've literally taken 2 of our panelists, right from underneath our noses. Right from underneath our noses, all from AFL development. How much is it? How much they paying you, boys? How much they paying you?
Too much.
Well, it does actually present an exciting opportunity for you, Kempy, if they do expand to the UK to release a nice bloke room temperature ale as well, and expand in that market.
Well, we do have bloke trademarked in the UK, just quietly.
Bloke stout.
Bloke stout.
I'd get around that.
There you go. Super League fans, reach out. Let me know. Not for abuse this time. I just want one good interaction with the Super League.
Just one.
No, I'm joking. I actually did have a really good. I've had quite a lot. It's all tongue in cheek, guys. But I did have when we're talking about the bias of the commentators last time, I had a really, really good comment from a bloke where he was like, the reason why they're super biased is because they only get a certain amount of airtime for games on TV. So what they're trying to do is like make it as exciting as possible for the English fans to get more people into the game, which is actually like really makes sense. Really makes sense.
Yeah, which is where I get a lot of English fans, your frustration, because the best NRL team versus the best English team, this should be
Huge.
The event of the year. Unfortunately, for where it's placed and everything, it's not, but it should be. And God, it'd be good if we could. I don't know how you do it. I don't have the answer, but it'd be so exciting if we could make this the proper event of the year.
Oh, absolutely. Especially just with how much English fans get around it. And then the rivalry that would build, because then that would piggyback into the international game and make that Australia-England game, super, super exciting.
I have never seen more NRL fans support Penrith over the weekend.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I haven't, you look at all the comments over the last few years, you can't find a positive thing about Penrith. Everyone was defending them, getting on their back. It was unreal.
All right, all good massive congratulations to Wigan. Incredible performance, so gutsy, and enjoy the win. All right, time now for the power play of the week. The LDV T60 is one of the most powerful utes in its class, possessing 160 kilowatts of grunt. Our power play of this week goes to Justin Olam for his hit on Zach Lomax. Holy! It tickled my berries. That's how much it hit him. Unbelievable hit on Justin Olam. Look, love seeing the hitman back. Looks like he's ready to go. Looks like he's ready to put a big year in. Hammy, walk us through that big hit on Zach Lomax.
You say it tickled your berries?
Yes.
It tickled my Nigel Plums as well. I was right up and about, very aroused for this hit.
Yep.
What a hit. And what a way to kick off his season as well. He's been nominated for our Power Play of the Week, and he's also going to be the Tigers' top try scorer at $12 as well. So plenty to love about this. Very exciting. You said it spot on. Good to see the hitman back doing what he does best. So
Jeez.
Thoughts and prayers with Zach Lomax this week.
Yeah, what a hit. What do you reckon, boys?
It must just be awful when you're coming out of your own end and you look up and he's leading the front and just go, fuck that.
And very rarely does he miss it. Like, as in, when he wants to go for it, very rarely does it go high. He usually gets exactly where he needs to go.
Imagine waking up Sunday morning after that hit. Oh,
to be fair, the big fella Lomax, he got struck back up and played the ball.
He did well, didn't he?
Really, really well.
Well, that's the other thing about it. Like, it was Zach Lomax.
Yeah.
Big bit of gear. You never see Lomax go backwards.
What would Olam be? He'd be like, what, 90 kilos, 91 kilos?
More, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon he'd be a little bit more.
Okay, we'll say 94. Lomax would be close to 98, 99, surely. Big bit of gear. The LDV T60 has 160 kilowatts of grunt, which makes it one of the most powerful utes in its class. The LDV is a sharply priced option from 36990. Drive away for ABN holders during the LDV 2023 plate clearance, making it ideal for those considering buying a new ute or even those considering buying a second-hand competitor. At that price, why go second-hand when you can have a brand new LDV?
Can I give an honourable mention to Sia Talakai on Preston as well?
Yes.
We can't give everyone Power Play of the Week, but worth tipping the hat to a couple of the big hits over the weekend.
Yeah, worth tipping the hat.
Yeah.
Worth tipping the hat.
Yeah.
Now let's get into it. Roosters defeat the Rabbitohs 46-10. Basically pure juniors. Like, we're talking Jersey flag?
Yep.
Pretty much?
Yeah, sort of in between Jersey flag, New South Wales Cup. Yep.
So purely juniors, but the Roosters looked outstanding. What I really liked about the Roosters, and this is very specific, but I thought their tackle technique was hectic. The amount of players across the board that their first contact was like super dominant. You got the guy on the edge that looks like a serial killer.
Corey Ross.
Corey Ross, mate. If he can make it in the NRL, talk about a cult hero. It's like he hasn't blinked in 20 years. Absolute psycho-maniac. He was shotting blokes left, right and centre. Got a meaty as well. I thought he was outstanding. Feketi was outstanding. Va'a also, before he went off injured, was outstanding. The fullback was great. A lot to like in the Roosters juniors. A lot to like.
Yeah, pretty much all the kids that have come through the Cloverleaf Crocodiles and Bondi United, all the juniors there getting a run, so good to see. That was a joke. I thought someone would jump on that. No one did. It's fine. We'll proceed. The one that I like, thank you, boys. The one that I like, the 13. Absolutely killed it. Scored a try for Ketty. Kempy, I remember I watched him play SG Ball and Harold Matts with my brother a couple of years ago, and I reckon of the 5 biggest shots I've seen in junior footy, he's probably got 2 or 3 of them. He's a freak.
He looks the business, and also just like not only does he have the big shots in that, but he's got the motor. He's also got the grit. He goes all day. Also, you spread a bit of misinformation just quietly. I messaged you. I said, "Who's this Fekete guy?" And you're like, "Oh, yep, he's a gun. Been around for a while." I said, "Oh, yeah, how old is he? 20?" You're like, "Yep, sweet." Misinformation. I put up a post saying he's 20. He's actually 19. Just wanted to clear that up.
That's on you.
That's what I get for trusting Guru.
Do your own research.
The Roosters. They always let you down. Mate, I agree with you. Fekete was outstanding. And he's actually, for me, he's like a mix between almost like the cheese. Because he has a not as nuggety kind of build, but he has that low kind of center of gravity and explosive nature. But also, he's a decent-ish 13 ball player. I really, really like what I see with him.
He's got a good footy IQ.
Yeah.
Too, which you saw the other night a little bit. But yeah, he's a kid that they've got from New Zealand. They've been very high on for a couple of years, the Roosters.
224 metres with 56 points scored in the game in a trial.
Yeah.
It's hectic.
Yeah. And a lot of those metres were probably first 60 minutes, 50 minutes. If there was one thing that you could go, critique, it'd be like, maybe last 20 minutes stays involved, but it's like, look, you're winning fucking by so much. Maybe he was even taken off. We don't know because with the minutes and that, they sometimes can be tough. 2 line breaks, a try, 34 tackles, 224 metres. Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I think he'll be a guy that'll just skip Jersey Flag and go straight to New South Wales Cup. So
Yeah.
keep an eye on.
Be smart too. With a guy as physical as that, you want to get him with men as soon as possible.
Yep.
Because, I know the Roosters are stacked, but sometimes a breakout kid can just come through and deliver exactly what they need.
Yeah, and for the sake of the other boys, it's worth getting him away from them.
Yeah.
They're not fair in that grade.
Absolutely. What do you got there, Matty?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing. It looks like you're holding the mic.
I'm
you're
syncing the
holding
mics up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Holding the headphones.
Good chat.
Yeah, great chat. Well done.
Little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, peek behind the curtain there. It's not as professional as it seems, guys.
I'd love to know how professional it does so.
Jesus Christ, Roo. Not all of us can be the good Roosters with all that cash. Who else stood out for you, Timmy?
You mentioned the fullback there, the Grom, who was outstanding, but also the centre, Ethan Clark-Wood, pretty dangerous as well, very good with ball in hand. You touched on the few forwards there that absolutely killed it, but Clark-Wood also some great signs.
You mentioned him before, Kemby. He was good in this game, but I think he's got a lot more to offer. Xavier Va'a, the front row forward, come down from Queensland a couple of years ago, I believe. I think he's got a brother that's very talented too. So I know the Roosters.
He's a boxer as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a boxer. Yeah. I know the Roosters are very, very high on him. And the hooker's handy too. Tyler Moriarty, another one that's.
I
in their
really
top
liked
30.
the hooker. I thought the hooker was really, really. It's almost exactly what. It's funny. I was watching the 2020 Grand Final. And watching Cheese move around as a 13, I'm just like, geez, a lot of teams could use that.
Fucking hope they could. Yeah.
And not to say that as in, geez, a lot of teams should sign Cheese, but geez, it tempted me to go, you know what, I know he won Dally M hooker, but some of those times he was playing 13, but could the Roosters use him more as a play the ball speed guy?
I said that all last preseason. But I thought he really improved as a 9 as the year went on. But the other one that really improved was Sandon Smith. I would love to get him in there at 9, just to get him in that side and then use Cheese as a middle forward. In saying that, they're not running short on middle forwards.
So stacked.
There's so many ball-playing middles, like these smaller bodies, just like Connor Watson as well.
But I just feel like
options.
No one does what Cheese does in the middle there.
Yeah,
I can't find tell me a single player in the NRL that changes momentum as well as the Cheese.
He's the best momentum man in rugby league.
Yeah. There's
a clip of from that 2020 Grand Final when the Melbourne Storm, they sit down on a couch and they're watching the game and Brandon Smith's in the room and he's just pissing off Greg Bellamy. And it's funny, every time he comes on the field, Cheese goes, oh, this is when I came on and took a hit up, we kicked 2 points. And then by the time he came off the field, Cheese was right. He's like, I was worth 8 points in that game.
Mate,
just because they couldn't stop me, they had to try and slow my momentum.
Look, the Storm have lost a lot of players. So obviously they're not as strong because they've lost those players. But I tell you one thing that they have not been able to recover since, it is Cheese's quick play the balls in the middle of the field. They are still struggling to find someone. And people say, oh, what about Nelson Solomona? He gets post contact and breaks line and skills defenders, but he's not up and down in a flash and then Harry Grant's off again. It's genuinely probably the one place, you could argue front row, yeah, for sure, maybe even edge, but I think the key for them to their whole system is that cheese quick play the ball.
Yep.
Really is something they've struggled. Corey Ross, I spoke about him. He had a try assist. Just some of his defence. Absolutely loved it. Who else stood out for you boys?
You spoke about him already a little bit, the fullback, but just to unpack him a little bit, the Grom. 2 tries, 2 line break assists, 2 try assists. He was just everywhere, and he combined pretty well with Moriarty, the number 9 as well. I think Vossi on comm said it was a bit like watching Cheese combine with Tedesco at times there. He kind of took it out of there, put him through a couple of times. So good to see they've got a little bit of extra fullback depth there. He'd be, 5th cab off the rank now, if a couple of them go down through the season.
Yep.
Some options.
Another fella, Williams on the wing. I thought he was good. He ended up having two line breaks, 170 metres, 57 post contact, 3 tackle breaks. Not bad.
A few guys are on the bench in that game. I know the Roosters like Alan Holton, Zach Sadler, and another 9. Not that they need another one, but Benaya, who came off the bench there as well. So a few that they're excited about at the Chooks.
Yeah, so all looking really good for the Chooks' future. The fact that they've got so many players standing out in the trial.
Zach Sadler, Cooma Stallion guru, but I know you know that. You were down at Cooma Showground when he was running around as a little 13-year-old.
Never left.
No.
Okay, for the Rabbitohs. Very tough game to stand out because I feel like they were pretty much dominated from word go, at least after the first 20. But I did think Cade Maloney had some moments. I thought he's some tough carries, got through his work. If you look at him here, he had 150 metres, 44 post-contact, tackle break, 2 offloads and 34 tackles. Yes, I thought Maloney was pretty good for the Rabbitohs.
Only 1 miss as well.
Yeah.
In a well-beaten side. That's
pretty
a good
bloody
knock.
good. Pretty bloody good, especially being dominated. To not only get all of those, get through all that work in tackles, but also to make the metres that he made when you're getting that dominated. I thought it was a bloody good knock from him. Who stood out for the Rabbitohs for you guys? I know it's tough because they struggled.
And look, one guy that he wasn't massive in this game, but I know he's very talented, is Matty French, who, as I said, didn't have a huge game here, but one to keep an eye on. CJ Mundine came on, did some good things. Obviously, a young bloke of chalk. I actually watched CJ a couple of years ago, and you'll piss yourselves once you hear this, but I actually watched him play a bit of basketball when he was growing up. I'm not even slightly kidding.
He's trying to beat the allegations.
Him and my brother played basketball together one year, and in no shock to anyone, a Mundine, freakish talent, like just athletic, unbelievable.
Yeah, if doesn't matter what you think about, Mundine's opinions or whatever, you are off your head if you don't think he is a genetic freak of an athlete, a freak of an athlete with really good footy smarts too when he played.
Are these Greys all related? Jai Gray, Brock Gray, Ryan Gray?
Brock Gray is the younger brother of Aaron Gray. Remember Az, he used to play a couple of years ago. Proud mascot boy.
Do you reckon they run out and they look across and they go, it's going to be a bad Gray?
Bloody 50 Shades of Grey down at Redfern this year.
Ryan Gray?
No idea.
Just a random Gray.
No, he's not related to Aaron Gray and them. But great to see Jai Gray not playing in this game. How exciting, going to Vegas.
Yeah, 100%. Far out. They must have wraps on him. I mean, I know they've got a lot of injuries, but...
they follow me on Instagram.
Bit of a grey area for me. Timmy's about to walk out.
Yeah, he's like, boys, I'm here to talk rugby league.
I actually thought it was a great call, mate.
That's nice from you, Timmy. On your feet. Holy. That grand final appearance is getting in your head. Anyone else stand out for you boys for the Rabbitohs? Just tough because they got dominated. They got dominated to young side as well, so it's not like we can go, here's some sample size from last year where they were really good. They'll be better for it. I think also sometimes in those younger games, because they are also young, once you lose momentum, these guys, they are playing, some of them for their future. Not all of them are sitting there going, I'm definitely going to play NRL. Very hard to wrangle that momentum back.
Speaking of young guys, absolutely devastated that I don't believe Buddy Gordon ended up playing, did he, Matty?
Did you hear the yarn?
It was the flight or something,
Yeah,
wasn't
so I think he went up to see his daughter play touch or something.
Yeah.
And then the storms hit and his flight got massively delayed and he missed it.
How devastating.
Buddy Gordon debuted in 2005.
What about Joe Tamain for the Broncos? Did you see that?
No.
Tamain of Storm fame. Remember the outside back Tamain? Yeah, he played in the Broncos trial, number 14.
Was that him?
That was him.
Wow.
What's with the comeback? I'm coming back. The beat going to get out there. Holy. Yeah, great win for the Roosters. And look, all jokes aside, and you could argue like when does junior starts, whatever, but this is a bloody good juniors Roosters side. Like if you were, I'm sure there are plenty of players in your team that rolled in around the Jersey Flegg age that you would claim as a junior for your club. So the argument of like they have no juniors, it's like, I mean, I consider if a player arrives at the Jersey Flegg stage or, 16, 17, 18, I'd consider that essentially a junior. Like unless let's say he's been in the Rabbitohs since he was 10, played all that, and then they take him when he's 17. That's a little bit different. But in most cases...
And you got to remember as well, like a lot of these guys in this Rabbitohs age group, like, they've already got Ty Munro who's up there. They've already got Jai Gray that's up there. Like there's a lot of guys... Talis Duncan's of the age where he could have played in this as well. So there's a lot of guys that have already progressed straight through and are already in the first grade system you need to keep in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so Roosters clearly, they've got, at the very least, they've got good pathway systems, at the very least. And I think also the slack about having no juniors, they had what was it, Boyd Corner, Kenny Dow, Orbison, Friend, I think there's one other, Pierce. Like they were all essentially there from about 16 years old, 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Which were a core of a premiership winning side. Now, on to the next game. Anything else, boys? Okay.
No.
All good.
Sharkies v the Bulldogs. Bludger.
Tough
Jeez,
watch.
I'm glad you said it off the bat.
Oh my God. This is a rough gig. Look, this was, if you needed someone to explain to you what trial footy's all about, this was it. It was just an absolute bludger of a game. The shining light is both teams ripped and teared in defence, I thought. Now, you could argue, did they have much thrown at them in good ball? Maybe, maybe not. But as I said, the Bulldogs, notorious worst defensive effort they've had maybe ever last year. I thought they were ripped, at the very least, ripped and teared in defence, and I thought the Sharkies did too. Let's get I wouldn't say negatives, but some surprises out of the way. Big, for me anyway, personally, I was a bit surprised that Trindle didn't just take hold of the game immediately, because I really rate Trindle. I think that he's a really good half. He came through playing 7, I'm pretty sure, as well. So it's not like he's totally unfamiliar to 7. I mean, a lot of people thought he was a 7 more than a 6. I think he's an out-and-out 6. Look, he's still relatively young. He's 23, 24. For a half, that's pretty young. But I was a little bit surprised that it just didn't seem... He got his bearings a little bit towards the end of the game, but for a player that Hines is out, you're across from Drew Hutchison, who, a bit of a utility. Yes, he grew up playing, but it's not like he's an established 7 in first grade. Then Sexton come along. I was a little bit surprised that Trindle didn't show that he has the potential to be a step above that. That was a bit surprised for me.
Yeah, when I saw that Hines was ruled out, there was part of me that thought, Christ, this could be worse from Canterbury, because at least when Hines there, you know what you're going to get. You know what to expect. I thought, geez, if Trindle really takes control here and plays the way that he plays, which is very different to how Nico Hines plays, could be really hard to handle. But he just... I agree with you. He just never really grabbed the game, did he? Yeah,
the first 20 minutes, the kicking from both sides was I was genuinely shocked. I'm like, this is, we've got, and no disrespect at all, but a guy like Aiden Caesar coming back from the Super League, his kicking game is better than current up-and-coming guns right now. And look, maybe that is because he's got so much experience. We have to remember he's gone to a grand final, so I'm not sitting here saying that he's a terrible 7, but I'm saying he's in the Tigers, who are at the bottom of the table, coming back from Super League, a bit older, and his ability to just grab a game against the Warriors initially. I know they ended up losing. So you would hope, if you're a Sharks fan, especially if you're a Sharks fan, but also if you're a Bulldogs fan, that your 6 or 7 at the very least would be able to just grab hold of a game. Doesn't necessarily have to kill it, but just give good platform and then see how you go from there.
To his credit, I was a bit surprised they made the decision to start with Atkinson on there. I thought Puru would have been the obvious
That was
choice
surprising
there.
to me too.
Yeah.
Because I thought it didn't really seem like he had much of a kicking game as well. He looks like very much a ball-running 6, more of a fullback.
He's a bit of a scat sort of character, Atkinson. He's just a
off the cuff
footballer that you put out there. Yeah.
So, and Puru, when you look at him, if someone gets injured this year, you'd think he's the next up. So why wouldn't you play him?
I was in a little bit two minds about this performance from the Sharkies, trying to be glass half full about him, but Atkinson and Trindle did struggle to link up in this game. Like you boys, I was watching very keenly with a close eye on Trindle for Supercoach purposes, and he just didn't grasp it the way we sort of hoped he would. At the same time, we know when Nico comes back in, just the side changes
totally
entirely. Their whole attack changes. Trindle's game changes. So I'm like, you know what? It's a one-off game. It was, as you said, Kempy, it was a bludger, so I'm happy to look past it. It is a bit of a concern, though, if something does happen to Nico Hines. Where does this leave the Sharks? Again, it's one trial game. You don't want to be too critical, but it is a concern.
I agree with everything you're saying. It is absolutely just a trial game. But when you're about 50 games into NRL, you're 23, 24 years old, you've got all the talent. Like we've seen Trindle. He literally killed it the week before for the All-Stars. Now, maybe that's because he was with Hines, but I feel like he's a better player than just because I'm with Hines. I feel like he has more to offer there. I think that it's getting to the point where Trindle... Okay, so this year it's not at the point where he can't afford to have bad trials like that. But I'd argue next year if he come out and had a trial like that again and had an inconsistent season, that's when you go, like, you're 60, 70 games into your career. Like, you should be hitting trials, and you don't have to kill it, but you should be, like, taking control of trials.
You hit it on the nose there. 51 first-grade games, Trindle.
There you go. And this is the reason why I'm saying this, because I think Trindle has a lot of potential. Like, I really like him as a half. And I also understood why they were like, all right, Moylan, it's time for you to move on. We're going to bring Trindle through. I think he's absolutely deserves a 6 jersey. I think agree, it's just a trial. But as you get higher into your NRL career or more games in, you just got to be more consistent.
Yeah.
More consistent.
If it was Putter that came in and had that performance,
Wouldn't
probably
mind.
don't even mention it.
Yeah, we wouldn't even mention it.
Trindle, just because Trindle's
he's
got
an
the
NRL
ability.
player.
Yeah.
And also, they're trying to win a comp this year.
Yeah.
You know, you're not there to just squeeze in the 8. You're trying to win a comp with Hines with you. And so it sounds like we're being harsh because it wasn't like he was shocking by any stretch, but it's just like, I think he's got more in him. Now, from a team perspective, though, I actually thought their forwards were quite good, especially their front row rotation. Even T. Wilton, I thought he was really good. Britton Nikora, we know what he's going to do. I thought Kofusi and Hunt, especially the starting front row, I thought they were really good.
I think Kafusi's had a really good pre-season.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Geez, they've got some middle forward depth in that side. Like Kafusi, he might have played his way onto the bench, but with Jack Williams there, Tommy Hazelton's been good. They have so many options.
And wild now that Hamlin-Mellow's re-signed and AFB arrives next year.
Royce Hunt.
That window, it's opening.
Oh, man. That's why this year it's really important to get an answer as to whether this squad can win a comp. So, for example, if you go to a prelim and you lose with this squad, I think Sharkies fans, obviously it'll be devastating. I understand all that. But you can go, okay, we bring in AFB, which has been kind of like we've been just missing that superstar kind of middle for a while. We can go one step further. The concern will be this year rolls around, they come 10th. And you go, even with AFB, not much change. Like you're not going from 10th. I mean, you could maybe in crazy world, but most likely you're not going from 10th to winning a comp just because you sign a really, really good front rower.
And that's the tough thing this year. The team that finishes 10th will probably be a pretty good footy side too.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the depth in the comp is just crazy. Mate, Ito came on late in that game. 9 hit-ups, 114 metres, 64 post-contact metres, 5 tackle breaks. I don't think he's done enough to move Talakai out of the side or get into the side, but...
Couldn't have done much more.
Mate, you don't want to be the Sharky to get injured or suspended and give him a shot.
Yeah, especially what I loved about his stint is what we were talking about in the show last week. Just like that energy, that desperation when you get on the field, just like that body language of like, give me the fucking ball, I'll take a hit up, give me another hit up. Like that's how you squeeze into first grade games, first grade teams in trials, is that kind of attitude.
Yeah, and it's been these trials that he's done that sort of stuff and he's been good, but you haven't seen the upside of him in these trials. He's got a lot more to give.
Yeah, just more like the unfortunate thing last week was against the Knights and they got pumped, so it's like hard to get the ball then. And then obviously this week you only got 20 minutes, what was it?
Yeah, he didn't play.
He didn't get that long. He didn't get that long. Who else? I thought Tapua.
He's good, eh?
Yeah,
something about him.
Something about him. It's not like he come on and set the world alight, but his size, his presence. He's another guy that could just round out that depth if there's any injuries in the middle. Who else stood out for you guys?
Tommy Hazelden put a big hit on as soon as he got on there.
I love Tommy Hazelden.
I'm a big Tommy Hazelden fan. Just big cold hero, big chip off the old block from Fitzgibbon there. Big baldy in the middle. Mate, I like him, and I think you touched on it before, Tim. He gives them some good depth through the middle there as well. I did like just the one thing that probably stood out for me was a bit of a bludger, as we've kind of touched on, but that hit on Preston from Talakai, I felt that one on the couch at home. That was jammed in on him.
That was good.
Yep.
Talakai is so strong. Jeez Louise, he's strong.
Yep.
Anyone else stand for you? In regards to the way they played, look, when you don't have Hines in your side, it just shows you, like, he is everything to that side. He genuinely is everything.
Yeah, and, a Dally M winning halfback, so he should be.
And you can't get close to replicating the way he plays footy and the way he plays as number 7 with this. He gets so many touches. He's all across the field. You can't bring someone in to do anything like his role for that team.
Yeah, and he's such a unique 7-2. I actually think that he's not similar to Cleary. He's actually probably closer to Mitch Moses than he is Cleary in regards to the style of play. I think we also saw, for a not noted kicker, they missed his kicking game. Like, no one sits there and goes, "Oh, Hines is a top tier kicker," and maybe he isn't, but far out. Look at the difference in how important kicking is when he wasn't there.
His kicking game has really improved, though.
Massively,
think,
especially in the wet.
Oh, massively. So, look, this is, as I said, a trial match. You're going to have games like this where you go, "Oh my God, my team looks like it's friggin' bottom 4." Just a trial match. I think you're going to find a very different side come round 1. Still unsure as to, will they be a top 4 side, a top 8 side. Be very surprised if they aren't at the very least fighting for the 8.
I think as a Sharkies fan, you walk away and go, we conceded 6 points.
Yeah, and then defensively, that's what kind of... And also for the first... I've got it here, actually. Got me show notes. Just had a nice cup of tea and just scribbled down some notes there, Hammy. Just get it up for you, mate. I don't know.
What was in that tea?
92% completion rate for the first 25 minutes. Also, did not have any tea. I just made that up on the spot. But what is not made up, 92% completion rate the first 25 minutes. Why I like to see that is a committed side to a game plan. It's a side that is listening to the coach. So certain things may not have been going their way, but at least they're all committed to low error count.
Completely off topic, but me and my brother were talking the other night watching your Instagram story about how far away is Rain sleeping when you're watching footy? Because you are screaming and yelling and carrying on like a fucking tit. It's unreal.
Well, that's what the tea will do to you. No, sometimes he just sits right next to me.
He's next to you throughout?
Sometimes, or he'll be climbing all over me. The little terrier. You're such a terrier, Rainey. That's what I say to him. I say, "Damn, you're a little terrier."
Are you a tea guy?
No, I'm actually not a tea guy. Tell you what, I needed some tea. I've been up since like 3:30 this morning. Rain, you were terrorising my sleep. That's what you were doing last night. But it's okay because you're cute as shit.
Just on Instagram, love the Guru Instagram story takeover on Bloke this weekend.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have seen a bit more from him, but maybe a few times through the season.
It costs too much.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The Guru star, he costs too much.
Yeah.
He only could afford one little snippet, 30 seconds. He reckons.
Maybe we can crowdfund and get a bit more Guru
content.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, far out! If you haven't checked it out, it's on Instagram on the reel. Guru took over for 30 to 40
No
seconds.
need to check it out.
Yeah, there is. Okay, now on to the Dogs. On to the Dogs. It's like, I would say the Dogs have more concerns out of this than the Sharkies, not because they played considerably worse, but because they are no closer in regards to form on key positions. Seven, Mitchell, Sexton, I don't know. I didn't think either of them played good enough to lock that down. At fullback, unfortunately, Taff didn't have the best game. Well, he had a really bad game. Connor Tracy has to be I think Connor Tracy at the moment has to be your option. Now, maybe he's injured. Now, the yarn that's come out of the Bulldogs is the reason why Critter didn't play is because he did his quad or something like that. He hasn't had a full preseason, so he's going to start at centre. They're going to maybe ease him into fullback at some stage. But I think at the moment, everyone fully fit. You'd obviously have Critter there. If not, I think you got to put Tracy back there.
Yeah, Tracy would be my fullback. Mate, I'll be honest with Blake Taaffe. I'm not convinced he's actually a fullback. You look at like when he really impressed in New South Wales Cup and all that, he was playing 5'8". I just don't think he's a fullback. He doesn't look comfortable there to me. I would be chucking Connor Tracy in there for sure.
As you said, Kempy, the concerns for both teams, but the Sharkies know they're 17 or at the very least they're 13 going into round one. The Doggies so many headaches. The Critter thing confused me a bit. There's a bit of chat that maybe there was a slight quad niggle, but I don't think it's anything too major. Maybe that was why, but I don't want to sound like a broken record because we've spoken about this throughout the preseason, but he has to be given a crack at fullback, doesn't he? He said if it doesn't work after 6 weeks, you know, they're not winning a premiership this year, make the move and make it Trace or make it Taaffe, whoever you want it to be. Sure, it's worth a try if nothing else.
I just don't understand it. And look, I can understand their thinking of if Taaffe plays as well as we know he can be a good, solid fullback that can ball play. So we can just get Critter in good spots and we can use him for that. So I see where they're coming from in that perspective, but we've been pretty rock solid on this. A guy like Critter in a team at the Bulldogs needs to be at fullback because he is an elite top-tier player. So you, in a key position, even though he's most likely a better centre, you need an elite top-tier player in that fullback role if the other guys at the moment aren't in good, especially if they're not in good form, but also on the small chance that he explodes. Because like that's another thing that's like, as you just alluded to, what if he kills it and he's one of the best fullbacks in the... Are we all going to sit here honestly and say he doesn't have the athletic ability to be one of the better fullbacks in the competition?
On the small chance that the biggest big game player in rugby league happens to do well, what have you got to lose?
Yeah, and also he's a club captain now as well, so wouldn't you get him in a key position to...
Yeah, and also this very like bitter word that there's a quad niggle, whatever. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. If your star recruit has a genuine like quad concern, as if you're playing them for 20 minutes in a trial, you're just like, mate, just get good for round one, we'll be right.
Look, the argument could be match fitness. So you don't want to put him at the back and he goes out and he runs for 200 metres and in the 205th metre he does his hammy. You know what I mean? I know he'd only play 20 minutes, but I know what you're saying. Like if he genuinely had a niggle, he either plays or he doesn't play.
The other thing that I couldn't make sense of, and Phil Gould's cleared it up on Twitter overnight, it was Sam Hughes and Curran, who both had a bug or something, so they played limited minutes. So we saw Salmon and Kurt Mann playing the 13 role. Josh Curran in his minutes the other day, ball played for about 4 seconds and looked like the best out of all of them for me. So they also don't really know what their 13 looks like.
Yeah, because I don't mind Salmon at 13. I really don't. But, you know, also Curran is great. Like, literally in every position, nearly, they, like, even, I do think, like, a guy like Reid Marnie, he works his absolute backside off. But if he keeps having inconsistent games for the Doggies, there's probably going to be pressure on him because that number 9 that came on is bloody good. Now, it's going to take a while. Like, Reid is absolutely the starting 9. Absolutely. Reid at his best is literally a top-tier 9. But just, I don't know what it is. I feel like sometimes he falls, not sometimes, but he may be falling back into the trap of trying to do too much sometimes instead of just pulling it back a little bit. And I know it would be hard for Reid because, A, that's in his nature. He's tough as anything. But B, like, you're in a side that you've gone from Mitch Moses, Dylan Brown, where you just go, bang, hit them. Whereas that you're in a side right now where your 7s just aren't, at the moment, creating anything. So you're like, well, I've got to try to do something around here. So
I've got some real concerns for Reid Marnie at the Dogs, and this has come from a perspective of, at Parramatta, I thought he was one of the best 9s in the competition, and I loved what he did. But there's just a lot of subpar performances backing up week after week for him. Like, even in this trial, he missed 8 tackles again. I think he was like top missed tackle in the competition last season. They just looked clunky in attack around the ruck. I know he had the early try assist. Oh no, that might have been last week. But it's just not flowing nicely there. And even in defence, Kempe, you mentioned like maybe he's going a little bit too hard. And just credit to him that he does fly off the line and try and put shots on. But it's almost like you just got to take a seat, like take a back seat and have a look at what Cameron Smith used to do as a 9 in defence. He'd fly up off the line. Line sweep was incredible. But he'd catch, he'd wrestle, he'd slow everything down. He'd never fly off and try and put shots on. And he's probably the best, almost number 9 defender we've ever seen in terms of the ability to slow the ruck, not missing tackles. Like, he needs to change the attitude around that a little bit.
The argument, I guess, for Reedy there would be like, he's just trying to inspire something. Like, boys, give me something. Whereas like Smithy is in his forward pack where he doesn't need to really inspire much at all.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a harsh comparison, but you know what I mean.
I absolutely know what
catch,
you're saying.
wrestle.
Because I agree with you. Like with Reedy, he actually, you know, he'd been on the potty before, and he actually said like it was one of my biggest issues coming through. Where like off the tap, I'd be in the line trying to shot a front rower, and it was Mickey Innes that said to him, mate, just you got to be smart about it because you're not going to be able to do that forever, and you're putting yourselves in this position, blah blah. And I think that like Reedy at the Dogs, it's such a difficult spot that he's in because what do? Do you try and inspire the boys that need inspiration, like absolutely desperately need it? Or do you be a bit more selfish and go, you know what, I'm going to take a little bit of a step back and just play my role on the side? It's a tough, I understand it's tough already, but at the end of the day, you're paid to play good footy. And I can understand why Bulldogs fans would be like, we need a bit more. Well, we need a lot more from Reedy this year.
And even in attack, like maybe I am off here, but I thought he had some of the best service from number 9 in the competition at Parramatta. I just feel like that's gone down. There's a few passes hitting the deck, hasn't been as good.
It could be because they've had 1,000 halves pairings, so that timing is just off. And like put it this way, so Burton was 7 at stages, then he was back at 6, and so he's usually not first receiver. Then they had Sexton, then they had Flanagan, then they had, you know what I mean?
It's hard yards.
So very hard to get that timing of a 7 right. Whereas when he was at the Eels, Moses, every game was essentially a 7.
It was when he was at the Eels, like I was watching him pass there going, fuck, he throws like a union halfback.
It's like beautiful.
He was
to watch.
incredible, yeah.
So, like, regardless of whose fault it is, obviously you still need Reedy to play better this year. But I do think a little bit of slack has to be cut in the fact that he hasn't had a 7 to get the timing right. Because that timing's everything.
And this is coming from a perspective, I said, like, I'm knocking him a bit, but
He's top tier.
at Parramatta, I thought he was one of, the top maybe 5 hookers in the game.
He's this close to Origin.
Yeah, and that form has just been nowhere near it in the last 12 months.
And that's where, like, sometimes it's harsh to knock guys on their potential, but, like, you're knocking him based on just what he's done.
We've seen
it consistently from it.
We've seen it for years as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a mixture of two things. Yep. Like him, form for sure, but also I think that the Bulldogs have been such a fucking mess to play. Like imagine playing in that forward pack where, so he arrived last year, correct?
Yeah.
So basically, most of that squad is no longer there. So that forward pack that he's been trying to work combos with and timings with, essentially not there anymore. That's tough.
Tough gig.
Yeah, it's a tough gig to get that timing right. You know, some halves love it straight off the deck. Some halves like an extra second so that they hold the markers in. You know, it's a delicate balance, but I understand Dogs' frustration because it's like, well, that's what we're paying you for because you're a good hooker and you need to find that balance for us. You're not a rookie hooker that can, you know, so that's going to be a key for them.
Positive that I saw for Canterbury that I like seeing, obviously Stephen Crichton got made captain the other day, which I think took a few of us by surprise. Took me by surprise anyway. Mate, I loved how animated he was, even on the sideline.
Yeah.
Every time they flashed down there, he was never sitting down. He was up and about. He was talking to young guys. And from what I've heard within Canterbury, it sounds like they are very happy with the decision.
Yeah, I've also heard that, like, this could be wrong, but my yarn, actually, Timmy, you might know, they did an off-season camp or a pre-season camp, and they did everyone voted on who's the best leader of the camp or something, and he got voted, and it was all anonymous.
Yep.
And he got voted basically number one.
From what I've heard, including the people running the army camp, who's the best leader here, I don't think he missed a vote.
Yeah, wow.
They reckon everything, like from the second he turned up there, he's been the loudest voice on the training paddock, leading by example. One of them blokes where when he talks, you listen, he has everyone's attention. So very exciting.
Yeah, there's been a lot of pushback for it. And I wasn't surprised by it because I'd already spoken to people that have been in teams with Critter. And so because we hadn't seen his personality front-facing to the media, you just assume, he must be a quiet guy in the locker room. Every single person I spoke to said, no, he is one of the biggest personalities in the locker room.
Yeah, and this is something that you said a few weeks ago, and it's aged very well.
Yeah, still got shit for it, but...
Yeah, you copped a lot of shit for it, I remember.
That's the internet, baby. That's the internet. Okay, positives for the doggies, and then we'll move on. Wilson. Alex, have you got any to say?
No, you were just saying positives, and I was going to say, well, we saw a little glimpse of their left side there get going once or twice. You got Burton, Kikau, Crichton, Fox. So if Crichton is going to play at centre, that's a pretty impressive left side. And they did kind of get away down there once or twice, and Nikora came and covered and kind of saved. He got put in the sin bin, but they look pretty dangerous. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they look pretty dangerous down there. So it was a bit of a bludger of a game, but that kind of stood out to me as like there's at least something to look forward to there. That left edge is pretty.
I think one tough thing for Canterbury is, for me, probably the most impressive across their two trials was Bronson. He's probably not going to be in the round one side because Kiraz comes back in.
And my boy Wilson, gun. Wilson on the wing is a gun.
Isn't he a goer?
Oh, I love watching him play. It is similar-ish in the Kiraz mould where, because they're not physically either like super fast or huge wingers, it's very easy to go, I wouldn't say forget, but you just don't appreciate. It's the Jared Croker situation. Because they don't physically look like, your Justin Hodges or your Greg Inglis's or your Matt Coopers. You know what I mean? They don't look like that, so they kind of get, he's just... But then when you actually watch them play and see all the good things they get through, you're like, he's a gun. I think Wilson's a gun. I think he's a sure thing to start on the wing there. And I think in the two trials, he's been one of their best. He really has.
Well, I don't know if you will, because I don't know.
Lock him in.
Well,
for me,
so Addo Carr's on one wing.
I'll be locking him in.
Kiraz, you're going to play him at centre. It sounds like unless Tracy were to go back to fullback, sounds like Tracy was going to come back and maybe play centre.
I'll be going Tracy at fullback, Wilson on the wing, Kira's at centre if his defensive stuff is all sweet. Addo Carr on the other centre. Critter on the if they're going to play Critter at centre.
Tell you what, they're like, for the criticisms we've had of them, they've got, maybe not in the middle forwards, but they've got options in positions. Like, that is a good thing. Like, they've got competition for key spots.
Yep. Outside the front row, they've pretty much got pretty good depth for a team that's not in the 8.
I love the evolution of Jamin Salmon the last 3 years, going from basically halves through, to my knowledge, all his juniors and early on in his NRL career, spent a bit of time at centre for the Panthers, became an edge back rower. I actually thought they looked quite good in attack that first sort of 20 minutes when he was the 13, just playing as the link man. I thought he did a really good job.
I don't mind him at 13.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting at the selection table and I got Curran and Salmon might just pip Curran and have Curran on the bench only because he's played more minutes in the trials at the moment.
And as Guru sort of alluded to with Curran, he came on, basically just tucked it under the arm and ran hard and was really effective, got through a ton of work. So, look, it's only sort of a 2-game trial sample size of Salmon at lock. I don't know if you can do it long term, but on what we saw in the 2 games, he looked good.
Put it this way, I think that you have to have Curran and Salmon in the side. I just think they've been too good in these trials for the limited minutes that they've done to not have them in the side. Now, that means you have to sacrifice. You may not have to sacrifice because you got Kurt Mann on the bench. But you may have to sacrifice a big front rower. You'd go Man, you'd go Salmon or Curran, then you'd go a front rower. Yeah. So like we'll just say Max King, even though Max King will probably be starting, and then maybe another front rower.
Yeah, and like Curran would essentially be like another front row if they were to do that.
If they had to.
If they were to go with Man and Salmon.
I think Salmon could, if he had to, 10, 20 minutes in the middle there, I reckon he could do it all right.
Just the last one, he didn't have much of an impact on the game, but how lean is Viliami Kickout looking?
I loved his energy. I thought he was quite super aggressive in defence, and that's a good sign that if he keeps up that attitude, it'll click for him no matter what.
He's looking fit.
Looking fit as anything. It's weird seeing him out the blonde hair though. I'm like, who's that guy? He looks good. It's like, oh shit. Alrighty. That's Bulldogs for Shucky's done and dusted. We have one more round of trials this week. No, we don't. Before the NRL Season 6 epic doubleheader in Vegas. No, we have Vegas this week. And the only way, the only way to watch the first game is on KO. And you can watch them in 4K. So make sure to grab KO and watch Rugby League and all the content that it brings. Storm defeat the Knights 28-10. Really like what I'm seeing from the Storm. They looked clinical. It's probably in regards to like systems and like looking like they've got it all put in place and ready to go. It's Storm, Warriors and Panthers for me at the moment that have looked the most fluid. Haven't really seen enough of the Broncos top tier side to see that. You could argue that maybe it's the same with Manly to a degree, so they might be included if they start round 0 well. But Storm, for me, really like what I saw. If they are to do well this year, they need Kamikamica to have a big, big year. And at least from the trial that I saw, I thought he was outstanding. They looked clinical. They're getting to certain points on the field where they nailed it. And to be honest, for a Knights pack, and I know that it's a trial and certain players were getting taken off earlier than others, so it's like sometimes you've got your top-tier side playing against a B side, but because the A side comes back on the field, you go, oh, they've been beating their A side the whole time. But anyway, for a Knights team that absolutely dominated the Storm forward pack last time they played, I was actually quite surprised at how much the Storm forward pack dominated the Knights.
Yeah, the Melbourne Storm on paper, it's not an overly impressive side to me, but you're right, Cammy. They're looking like one of the sides that just has it together. They just all know their role. They're all unified. They're going in one direction. Even that game the other day, obviously Harry Grant was fantastic and Hughes was pretty good, but Pappy wasn't outstanding. Munster didn't play. A lot of positives to take from it.
A lot of positives. And even little things. Like the difference between the Storm and the Knights attack was every time, go back and watch Pezzet's try. Every single time in good ball, at the very least in good ball, every time a playmaker would take the ball to the line, he'd have 3 options. Inside, outside, out the back. Whereas the Knights, they didn't do that. And you go look at Pezzet's try, that's what scored it. He just threw dummy, and it's because all defenders were looking at different men around him. And they were doing that pretty regularly, the Storm, is taking the ball to the line with 3 options and just trusting the fact that there's going to be a hole somewhere in the defensive line. And that is it sounds like an easy thing where you go, of course you should run in pairs and of course forward should, but you'd be surprised how many teams forward pack just don't. They don't run in pairs. They don't give their halves any options. If their job isn't on the menu for that set, they'll just kind of mosey on around. At the Storm, that does not happen. You have a job every second of every set at the Storm, and you get Munster back in that side, and you get Pappy flying again. I thought Pappy was solid. He's classy. I think his ball playing has improved so much over the last 2 years. Timmy, what do you think of the Knights? Storms?
Yeah, I mean, look at these trial games, and one of the biggest takes you take out of the pre-season challenge is just depth in sides. And obviously this was a strong list that's gone out for the Storm, but in recent years their depth hasn't been terrific. If they had 1 or 2 injuries to key players, they looked a bit light on, or over the origin period if they have key players out like Munster and Grant. But Jonah Pezzett, who has shown glimpses in limited opportunities over the last 12 months, he was terrific for them. He was probably the best player on the field, along with Jerome Hughes was terrific as well. But Pezzett, some really good signs there. He's definitely developing.
Yeah. You can see, I mean, it's typical Storm where a guy comes in and you go, he had a lot of hype, played the New South Wales game, doesn't really kick on the way you think, but year on year, you just see him go a little bit better.
He plays really deep into the line. He's happy to take that hit. He looks like a pretty tough unit. And off the back of it, there are so many points.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw there. So, you look at Logo to come in and back up Pappenhausen. You got Pezzett to back up both of the halves there. If Munster or Hughes are out, they're well placed.
What did we make of Sean Bloor?
I think that he did his job really well. Didn't get through that much work, but he ran all these lines he needed to, stayed down on his edge. Sometimes for wide edge running forwards, you can look at their stats and go, but if you actually watch the game and how much work they get through off the ball, I thought he was solid. If I'm honest, I thought Howarth was really good. I think physically, at the very least, Howarth is ready.
Wasn't it interesting, it was a surprise that there was no Bloor starting there, but Howarth still couldn't get a start. It was Kane Bradley over him. I'm with you. Howarth did look good.
And look, I think he had, if there's one concern with Howarth that, maybe this is why he hasn't started yet, is that he can have that, that error or that misread in defence or whatever. But I thought he was really, I thought every time he ran the ball, he essentially found his front. He won nearly every bit of contact he was in. I thought Howarth was good.
I would love to just be a fly on a wall for 2 weeks with Jack Howarth and just try and make sense of this situation.
Do you reckon he's just basically almost playing a bit of mind games with him in this trial by going, I'm going to start Bradley, see how you react to that?
Mate, I've got no idea, but fuck, Craig Bellamy's got me in an absolute pretzel when it comes to Jack Howarth. I'd hate to know what's going on in Jack Howarth's head, trying to work it all out.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to look here. Yeah, so he played... Oh, doesn't have the friggin' minutes. Annoying. That is annoying. But yeah, I thought he was really good. Every time he ran the ball, he looked really strong in contact. I think physically, he's absolutely ready for first grade now. But it's going to be super interesting. Like, what surprised me about the no blow and how we're starting is like, I feel like that's the last thing they need is just that bit of punch on the edge, and it rounds out their forward pack really well.
Yeah.
Because like the concern now, look, maybe Bellamy's looking at it like, look, we have enough punch, as in not punch, sorry, we have enough ball playing explosiveness that we just need really good defensive players on the edge. Because Kenny Bromwich was really good in attack, but you could make the argument that Kaufusi and Kenny Bromwich weren't renowned for their attack. And so maybe Bellamy's argument is, I need really good defensive edge back rowers, and I'll rely on our ball players getting us to right points in the field to get us the points.
Especially with Eli Katoa on the right edge, who adds so much strike for him. So he might be just going, I just need the best defensive back rower there. And that combination between Eli Katoa and Jerome Hughes, that could be something very, very special this season. They are obviously limited time since Eli Katoa came over from the Warriors. Geez, they're going to do some damage together.
Hughes, I reckon, is in for a massive year. I reckon he just looks on. He just looks on.
Another year with that combination with Eli Katoa, they could be very destructive.
And Katoa as well, just the energy they had. I thought it was a really, really promising trial for the Storm. They looked smooth. They looked silky. As I said, Kamikamica, if he can have the best year of his career, that's exactly what I need. Another guy that I really liked is Lazarus. Because, not necessarily because he, killed it in the stats or whatever, but he got belted the first few runs that he had. And it's almost surprising because you're like, he is huge. But you don't realise you can have a 19-year-old that's 110 kilos in the gym. He's stronger than all the first graders. But there's just something about NRL man strength that is just different. He got belted the first few tackles, and he just kept turning up, and then eventually he started getting a bit of momentum.
The other one that I like coming off the bench was Tristan Powell. He didn't like set the world alight, but I thought he was really solid. He's come from the Queensland Cup last year, playing for the Tigers from Harvey Bay, Jermaine Hopgood territory. He's another one that I wouldn't be surprised to get a bench spot at some point throughout this season.
What about Big Joe Chan as well?
Yeah, Big Joey Chan.
The father,
He's a little smoky, I think.
Yeah, he 8 runs, 115 metres. I thought he was big bodied, got through a bit of work there. Looked pretty damaging.
They
that line break as well. The line break as well.
Yeah, they really need one of these forwards to just jump out of the
Well, that's it. Between all those blokes just mentioned, like Powell's terrific, as you said, Guru in limited opportunity. Chan, like Kamikamica, starter for them. He was outstanding. If just one of these sort of fringies can lift and give them a bit of extra go in the middle,
they're begging for it.
Yeah, just one of them needs to stand up.
I thought Christian Welch looked much better as well. He looked, I guess, less tentative than last year, understandably, obviously the injury.
Yep.
So, yeah, great signs for the Storm. The Knights, I don't know if it's this game, so apologies if I get this wrong, guys, but I felt like in the Knights' defence, I felt like they took their players off, their first graders off quicker than the Storm. And that's where some of the points came from. I apologies if I got that wrong. It might have been a different game that happened. I guess it's not a concern, but I did think their forward pack was a bit lackluster to what we had seen last year. Last year, by the end of the year, we saw a super aggressive, almost like one of the most aggressive forward packs in the competition. I was a bit surprised at, especially the first 20 minutes, where they just got completely dominated.
Yeah, I thought they were very clunky to start. I was actually really disappointed by Newcastle and how they looked. Based on where they were at last year, based on all the players they had playing for them, I thought they looked very out of sorts, to be honest with you. It's probably the clunkiest I've seen Newcastle look in a long time. And it's only a trial, but...
I'm hoping it's just a bit of pre-season complacency. They ran out a decent team as well in week one of trials, or some good enough footballers there. I'm hoping it's just... because defensively they're really ordinary. Like Adam Elliott made some really uncharacteristic defensive errors there. I'm hoping they're just going, sweet, let's get to round one. It'll be business as it was towards the back end of last season.
Yeah, and as you said, like the Eli Katoa try, you could have got bust through that gap. That was just the heads just opened up. The Jonah Pizzette try, as you said, just poor communication.
Shown going through the middle, like it was just so weird.
Yeah. It's hard because you don't know with the trials. You just don't know. You know, for example, the Pezzett try, you could go, all right, Elliott and Kai Pearce-Paul played no rugby league together. So, you know, maybe that's the reason. I think the Hastings, obviously the try on Hastings, it was through Hastings. Hey, Hastings turned in and then the Senate didn't cut. Who was the
there was Dylan Lucas sort of shot up and Hastings sort of stayed. You could just, like, once again, just guys that haven't defended.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Maybe it's combinations.
Yeah.
So I can excuse that. It was just the thing that I was a bit, as I said, a bit surprised. It's just the energy. I didn't see the same. Even, like, I don't think Marjorie broke a freaking tackle. Where's the big fella? Maybe one?
Yeah, and then
two tackles.
Yeah, and every opportunity they got down that left edge, either, you know, Bradman Best took it. Like, Marcy didn't really get all that much ball in that game, which is, to me, a sign that things aren't flowing with Newcastle.
Even just like Gagai, 6 runs, 38 minutes. The no minutes thing is so annoying.
Yeah, because you don't know.
Because you can't know,
Yeah.
but like Gagai, he's a veteran. He's waiting for round one to go bang.
But also, like the amount of times they went to the right and the ball hit the ground, you just weren't seeing that at all from Newcastle last year.
Definitely clunky. Like their attack. Positive though, some positives. I thought Kalen Ponga looked slick.
Yep.
In the limited time that he had, he's really just cementing himself as, you know, he's almost guaranteeing you an 8.5 out of 10 every week, which is exactly what you want from a Kalen Ponga.
And yeah, even just watching him, you know, pre-game when he was warming up and everything, you know, 2 years ago, KP was sort of just had like a carefree sort of body language all the time. It's completely flipped now. He looks all business to me in every single game, KP. Like you can just see it in his eyes now.
Yeah, agreed. Like, to be honest, it seems like boy to man.
It does.
It really, like, even the way he talks he looks like a captain of the club, very professional, almost business-like. Whereas a younger KP, and understandably so, he's young. That's what growing up is all about. Is, as you said, super cruisy. Look, I'm so good that I've got enough talent that I'll just turn it on. Now it's, I'm such a fan of KP's journey. It's genuinely one of the greatest journeys in rugby league, especially if they go on to do something special. That'll be almost the final notch in it. You know, he's done Origin. He's come back from basically being all over in rugby league. So, and also winning the Dally M. I thought Daniel Saifidi, when he did get his opportunity, I thought that he got through a fair bit of work, 12 runs, 129 metres, 62 post contact, 2 tackle breaks. So that's a positive.
How about his little effort there to trick the ref? Jacob went off the field and...
what about his brother sold him down the river?
Yeah,
Didn't take one from his bro.
Yeah,
he said, I'll take that 10 on the chin for the brother.
10 on the palm. They made him come all the way back out in very 90% humidity, 35 degrees.
Ratted him straight away.
Straight back off.
Before the ref even finished the sentence, he was like, no, it wasn't me. It's the brother. Holy, I'm not robbing a bank with you.
Yeah.
Let me out.
Hammy just mentioned the weather over there, very hot, very humid. Mate, the thing that stood out for me, the minutes that Kai Pearce-Paul played over there.
I was surprised.
I was shocked.
And also I was surprised that he wasn't completely gassed as well. I thought the speed of the game would get to him. Obviously, he had that one miscommunication with Adam Elliott. Did you see like this superstar just explode on the scene? No, you didn't. But did you see the thing that I loved about Kai Pearce-Paul's performance is just the effort areas. Yep. Like, it was a guy out there that doesn't rest on the fact that he is genetically, gifted. 18 tackles, only 1 miss. That's pretty good on the edge, especially in your first game against the Melbourne Storm, who notoriously 2-pass shifts to the edges. That's what they do. Good, solid hit out. He's going to be a slow burn, as we've just spoken about many times. It may not even be this year where he hits what we think he can, but I loved his attitude.
I reckon around the Origin period, around that time, 10 weeks so in. Mate, I'd watched a lot of him in the Super League and stuff. I was very impressed. I couldn't believe how big he was.
Freaking massive. He's as big as the Saifidi brothers, tall-wise.
Mate, he looked bigger than them to me. I couldn't believe the CBA shirt would have looked like a crop top on him.
Yeah, we sent him a 6XL and it was too tight.
But yeah, just physically, he is such a specimen.
Yeah. Look, the only thing he's going to struggle with is probably speed of the game. Like, as in, the only concern I have is speed of the game. I think that he'll be able to handle it. But when you get guys that big on the edge and you get, outside backs that just go, oh, yes, footwork, That's going to be the toughest thing for him.
I thought it was interesting too, as the game went on and he stayed on the left side, they brought Dylan Lucas back on the right side, which is interesting. I just eyeballing it now, I would say Dylan Lucas starts on the left edge round 1, but I reckon by the end of the year, because of Dylan Lucas's versatility, I reckon there's a good chance he ends up jersey 17 for them.
Yep.
I think Leo Thompson, in the small little glimpse that we saw, I think he's in for a big year. I really do. I know that, it wasn't the best game for the Knights, but he does seem like a player playing. To be honest, it looks like a player inspired by Fisher Harris. Like, it really does. And I know that sounds silly. They're both in the NRL, but I saw a lot of similarities in the way he was getting about his work.
I don't think it sounds silly at all. I think it's exactly what it is.
Thanks, Guru. Appreciate that, mate. Okay. Anyway, anything else on the Knights?
No. What are we looking at with the halves? Do we expect Gamble to be round 1?
Okay. So I actually had my TN show notes here. Let me just get them up really quickly. Thank you. There we go. Yeah.
Cogger is a sneaky little 14, maybe.
I am really torn about this because I thought Cogger had the most direction of any half when he was on. Even at 9, so the first 20 minutes. Now, maybe the gas had been taken out of the game, but as soon as he came on at 9, they were super direct, way more decisive in what they were doing. It's getting harder and harder to keep him out of the... Look, he'll definitely be 14 in my opinion. Definitely be 14, but I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on.
Say he'll definitely be 14, assuming Jaden Brayley's not playing round 1.
Yeah, well, like that spending time at 9 really suggested that Brayley's maybe not good to start. He's got that, I think it's a Hammy twins or something. So, based on that and spending time there, it looks like he'll be 14. Gamble and Hastings in the halves.
But I tell you what, because Hastings probably hasn't had the best trials.
Yep.
If that form carries on into the season, and even Gamble, and you're desperate for a hyper confident, not that Hastings isn't confident, but Cogger just seems very, very like, this is where we're going.
Hasn't it been a dreadful 18 months for Jaden Brayley? Arrives there, club captain, gets injured. Phoenix Crossland turns into a top 10 hooker in rugby league out of nowhere, and then Jack Cogger signs as a reserve grader, wins a premiership, almost the MVP of the fucking grand final. And now arrives there and gets first shot at 14, he could look sensational there.
Yeah, I thought he was great. Really, really good. And it's going to put so much pressure on Hastings and Gamble. The one thing I hope for Knights, though, is that it doesn't put too much pressure where you're chopping and changing your halves constantly. For example, let's say you start the year, first 3 games, you win 1, you lose 2, looks a bit clunky, but Cogger comes on every game and kills it. What are the fans going to be asking for immediately? Get him in their halves, but you don't want to go too quickly because then that's a new halves pairing. And then what if that doesn't work? And then you bring someone else in. That doesn't, you know what I mean? And by the end of the season, you've had 6 halves pairings combinations. So that's the only...
My big worry of the entire preseason was that Cogger and Hastings were too much alike. The more I watch them, the more I just think, fuck. If KP's swinging on both sides, does he just get the best ball possible off both of these
I think
guys?
that's exactly right, Roo. It's like, all right, they are similar. They probably wouldn't work together in a lot of teams, but that team is about getting Kalen Pong a clean ball, and they can both do that.
Yeah, if you had said that to me last trial, I would have said way too similar. After watching his ability to adapt in 9, working with the halves, I think even Gamble's going to have pressure on his 6 role as well.
I think it's been very evident that the best 25 minutes of Newcastle Knights football so far this year was in that trial last week when it was Cogger and Hastings.
Yep. Yeah.
Great problem to have.
And look, Gamble, if Brayley isn't good, Gamble's a great 14 to have on the bench if you do decide to go down that route. All right, that's Storm v Knights. Alrighty, Warriors Dolphins. Don't forget, grab your Could Be Anything shirt from bloke.shop. Best way to support the platform, plus bloody good shirts. Cannot wait for you to get them. Also, just quickly, there has been a delay because of Chinese New Year, completely out of control. All the shipping containers were delayed. You still should get them before round 1, but might be a little bit later. Just wanted to let you know. Now, let's get into it. Warriors v the Dolphins. I'm trying so hard not to get ahead of myself with the Warriors. But they looked absolutely outstanding. Yes, the score ended up being 34-22, but if I'm being honest, the Warriors dominated most of the game, and I think if I recall correctly, most of the tries scored for the Dolphins were when the Warriors had pretty much taken off their stars or their main guys. absolutely outstanding for the Warriors. Like, to think, put it this way, if you said before the start of last year that they would have the year they'd have, we all could have said, yeah, the Warriors have always had the talent to have a crazy year. But if you had said they'll have the year they had, then they'll come out and be one of the best sides in the trials, you would have said, no way. Like, they have such inconsistency. What good one year, not good the next year. I thought they were outstanding. Sean Johnson does not look like a guy that's complacent or resting on his season last year. They look absolutely stronger in this trials than they did last year, which is a scary prospect for the NRL.
Yeah, I sort of had them finishing around about 9th this year.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous.
Yep.
Early in the season, obviously, before the season, pre-season. But I am very nervous based on what I'm seeing so far at the Warriors. They couldn't really tick many more boxes.
Literally. So I had them, I think, like 6th to 8th or something like that, or 6th to 9th. I'm getting nervous with that prediction. With all the sides that are getting better, with how good rosters are, right now, from what we've seen in regards to just the trials, the form systems, young guys coming through, injury-free essentially, you'd have to say they're probably they're a top 4 side from what we've seen in the preseason trials right now.
I mentioned just before with the Newcastle Knights that they look like there's some complacency there and they're waiting for round 1. And you can sort of use that as a bit of an excuse. But alternatively, when a team comes out in the preseason that doesn't really mean that much and put on a performance like the Warriors and that attitude is there for a preseason game that doesn't really mean a thing, wow, that's impressive. They conceded 2 tries in the opening 67 minutes. One of them was a Jake Averillo kick that, like, defensively you can't do too much about. It was just a nice try for kick. They were outstanding.
Yeah. And just, like, the players that were signed last year, they're playing, arguably even better. Like a guy like Barnett, hasn't he just gone from strength to strength to strength? He was outstanding. Then you've got Ale, who was obviously didn't get signed last year, but was a fringy last year, had some good trials, played a bit of footy, but he's been outstanding in the trials. Then Kurt Catewall comes in, hits the ground completely running. Like, so much so that after watching the Broncos trials, and I know that Ricky's injured, so we haven't got to see him yet, and Piakora was outstanding, but you go, oh shit, was that a year early? That was the argument we had with the Capewell in the Broncos situation. Was it a year early letting him go? Now, it's a very long season. He's an older player, so maybe he kills it, maybe not. But from that trial, you go, ooh, well, you could have really kept a guy like Capewell in our side.
Meanwhile, the bloke that he replaced in the starting team in Murata Niokore, who's come on and probably spent a lot of his time as a middle this season, could spend time on the edge. I'm not sure which way they'll go, and he was one of the best on the ground for them.
And then last week, Laban on the edge was one of the best on ground.
Yeah, they're ticking all these boxes, and they're the team probably with the most upside in these young guys. 2 of Metcalf, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Tomato Martin are going to miss the team in round 1.
Craziness.
Like, there's a handful of clubs that would give their right arm to have one of those guys.
Yeah.
5'8" for them.
And I'm still not convinced that, like, Metcalf is the out-and-out front runner for that 6th role. Like, because I'm a big Tomato Martin fan. But when you look at, like, combinations, he does offer a point of difference that, it's really hard to find. That explosive nature through the line, if you can nail it, very hard to defend against it.
I love all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like, if you had to go 1 through to 3, you could give me any of those lists
Stoked.
in any order, and I'd go, yeah, I agree with you.
I want to talk about my boy Wade Egan. That try that he set up for Barnett was an actual joke. Like, a no-look out the left side, spin pass to Barnett, steaming onto it. So that has to be pre-planned. And what's crazy about it is you could pre-plan that. You still have to execute it. And that's just like, when you got guys like Wade Egan and Barnett with confidence like that heading into the season, like, those boys wouldn't have had that confidence last year. They were still trying to find their feet. I mean, you could argue they were battling for spots last year to a degree. And then to come on to do that in the trial where they're that in sync. They're so in sync, they're doing a play that if you did that play at the end of the year, you would still go, that's incredible timing. They did that in a trial. That's how in sync the trial.
We mentioned with the doggies around Reid Marnie and just combinations being a bit clunky because there are a lot of new halves pairings and players coming in. It was the same at the Warriors last season with a lot of new faces coming into that squad. So 12 months further on, they should only be better. And how cohesive did they look? Like, everyone was on the exact same page for a trial game. That rarely happens.
Yeah. It was...
Like, do we think the Warriors had the best looking attack in the preseason, or at least in that on the weekend.
Right
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah. No. I think it's out and out best looking attack.
Just on Wade Egan as well. They've just signed his brother and brought him over there, Talon Egan, who's
really?
hooker for SG Ball as well.
Can't wait for him to begin.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
I'll take it.
You take it?
Yeah, that's good.
It's all right.
Not bad. Yeah. You could use another cup of tea, though.
What do you reckon, Hammy?
Good game. We haven't even spoken about Roger yet.
I thought I'd leave that.
You're going to leave that for me? Thank you. Well, how about some of these numbers? 17 runs, 196 run metres, 106 post-contact metres. Bit of centre, bit of fullback. We were talking about arousal levels earlier on the show. How are the Supercoach guys feeling over there with Roger?
Shit canned him a month ago, and now I'm all over him.
Yeah.
I also was not interested in him Supercoach-wise at centre, and then after those 2 trials, I'm getting very nervous.
I told you, boys, day dot, I said you should get him in Supercoach, and you didn't want to listen, and now you got egg on your face. Now you got egg on your face. But it's all right, you don't have to listen to me.
I'm no stranger to having an egg on my face.
How seamless is his transition back in being, though?
Man, I will say, I do believe his rugby union stint has helped his defence a lot. Like, he's already a really good defender, but his timing as a centre in defence, he's outstanding off the bat. Outstanding off the bat. Look at the timing of that.
Have a look at him.
There he is on the TV screen behind us. If you're watching on YouTube, looking as snacky as ever.
I don't think any of them can see it.
Nah, they can't see it.
Oh, they can't see it.
Nah.
Oh, yeah, we don't have a wide angle anymore. Fair enough. Well, we have a TV behind us that slowly fades through different players, and it faded into the.
Just gesture to him.
Just. There you go. There you go. Cammy is taking.
I'm going to post that on my story and tag bloke.
Exclusive. Exclusive to Hammy's story. You're going to see what we're talking about.
Only hams. Get around it.
Yeah, RTS. And like we talked about, you know, it might seem hyperbolic when we talk often about big games, big moments, and there's certain players that can tip you over the line. Ironically, I was watching the Panthers-Wigan game, the last 20, and I was like, geez, they could really use Stephen Crichton right now. But that's by the by. Last year, Broncos versus Warriors, the game was in the balance. Reece Walsh threw a very debatable forward pass. But in games like that, when you need a superstar to wrangle back momentum and do something special, RTS can be the difference.
Yeah.
He is that guy. And so if they keep trending this way and they get back in that situation against a top-tier side, he might just be that last piece of the puzzle to have the big moment to get him into a grand final.
If Chance is out round 1, which it sounds like he'll be out for the first few weeks, are you playing him at fullback? Or?
No, keeping him at centre for now. Because I know he can play fullback. At any time in the year, we know he can play fullback. Whereas Tuapiki, and also we want him playing as much centre as possible, because look how good he is now at centre. Imagine 10 rounds in when he's getting his timing right off SJ and his timing right off, whereas Metcalf, Tomato Martin, or Harris Tavita.
As you said, unless they want him to be the backup to Chance, which it doesn't sound like they will, it'll be Tuapiki, you have to pick him at centre.
I think so. And also, Tuapiki, he's young, he's developing. So let's say he comes out and explodes the way we think he can, because he's been pretty good in both trials and also his debut. So if you don't have him in the side, then you're missing potentially an opportunity to develop one of your young fullback that in 3 or 4 years, is hopefully going to be your long-term fullback.
Here's another one, though. I think it's fair to say the Warriors are in a premiership window on what we've seen, how good they were last year.
Before the start of this year, I would have said probably not, just because I was worried that was a flash in the pan. After watching the trials, I think that they might be in a premiership window.
Yeah. So if they're in a premiership window, if anything happens to Chance, and Chance has missed a lot of games over the year with soft tissue injuries, a lot of hammy niggles, that sort of thing, surely RTS is the fullback you want to take you to a potential premiership.
I think you've made very valid points, but I'm playing him at fullback.
You're playing at fullback?
I would give Ali Leotau, I believe it is. I'd play him at left centre.
See, I think that with RTS, at any point in the season, you can put him back there and you know he's going to be one of the best fullbacks in the competition. But what if he is one of the best centres in the competition, plus Tuapiki explodes, you know? That's the argument I'd have with it. See how Tuapiki goes, if obviously Chance isn't sweet.
I think you're going to get more out of Roger at fullback. And this Leotau, He looks
He's a
like a
beast.
star.
I tell you what, Roo, if RTS does get named for that round one, boom, in Supercoach.
I will bend over in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Go Roosters. Anything for a buck.
Maybe 3 or more spankings at the heart attack.
Holy. Look, what is crazy is what a problem to have for the Warriors.
Yeah, what a ridiculous conversation we're having.
Like
do you play your Dally M medal winning fullback at fullback if there's an injury?
Or do you put him at centre?
Yeah.
And also, we're not really talking about the fact that with Chance at fullback, they got to a prelim. So Chance at his best, getting through 220 metres, plus RTS getting through 150, 200. Like, that is a seriously scary backline. But the flip side of that, if you ended up putting RTS back there and Leotua, Leotow, and he explodes, then you've got one of the most damaging ball running centres in the comp with RTS at the back.
That's the way I'd be going.
And on the flip side, our boy Rocco Berry, tremendous.
He was outstanding.
How good was that line he ran off SJ?
Oh, that's only going to get better too, the timing of that.
So what I found really interesting in this Warriors side, Jersey 18 was Dylan Walker. Do we think he's in there round one or not?
Yeah,
I thought he was
surely.
amazing last year.
Surely.
He will.
He's too important.
The only way,
The balance of the
he'll
side.
be there. The only way he wouldn't be is if it was like, if they were maybe thinking Harris Tavita at 14 or something, but no, surely.
Because even Tavanga wasn't in the 17, was he?
No, he was.
He was.
He was. Yeah, the bench was Lussick, Nekore, Tavanga, Buntiafoa. So Dylan Walker was in Jersey 18. Maybe it's nothing to read into. I just thought it was interesting.
Surely you're keeping Dylan Walker as your 14.
I would, but yeah,
Just trying to get up the...
just another premiership winning centre that they're using in a different position. So
You said premiership window, $19 to win the comp this year. Warriors.
juicy.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, so Bent Bundy... Oh, Freddie Lussick at 14. Surely he's not going to take... Surely Lussick's not going to be the 14. As in, unless...
Wouldn't be my 14, but
Unless that he's genuinely going down the route of, I want 2 specialist hookers in the side.
They've got Jazz there. Like, surely Jazz is the one that spells Wade Egan. Gives him 15 minutes off.
Maybe he was trying to give Freddie Lussick an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because Freddie wasn't bad. He was actually pretty good, especially the week before as well.
yeah, that's the only reason why I asked, because it's full strength, all the rest of it. So yeah, interesting one there.
Maybe he is really leaning towards out and out 2 hookers, because you look at Freddie.
Because I agree with you. Jazz can. I hate when Jazz plays 9.
I want him
think he's
13.
middle forward. Yeah,
So do I. But I'm happy for him to play there for 15
If you
I
have
minutes.
guess
to.
Walker into the
Yeah.
side. Yeah, yeah.
But you look at this though, Freddie Lussick, 29 tackles, 0 misses. Like that's, we always focus on attack, but if you can bring on a bloke that can just get through work and miss 0 tackles, that's a pretty bloody good.
You smashed their preseason too, Lussick.
Yeah. Have a look at this. Tohu Harris, 42 tackles, 0 missed in a trial. Like, are you serious, bro?
Honestly, Kempy, I'm not impressed or surprised, because he just does it every week. He's a maniac.
Here's another one for you. 3,000 tackles, 0 misses. Does that impress you?
Not for Tohu Harris.
God damn, hard man to impress. Yeah, that really is who he is, though. Like, he just does that. That's what he does. Beast. Another, like, Adam Fanor-Blake, 182 metres, 77 post-contact, 4 tackle breaks, 24 tackles, 0 misses, 0 errors. Jeez, he's been punching out 8.5s out of 10, 9 out of 10. What do you reckon? 3 years now? Like, when's a game in the last 3 years where you saw Adam Fanor-Blake had a 6 out of 10? I can't
really
remember.
happen, yeah.
It really doesn't happen. For a guy, when he came through, could be a little bit inconsistent. It is pretty incredible how much he's grown as a footy player, where he can just deliver.
Guru doesn't rate him, but that's another story, isn't it?
Not a fan, eh?
Finn Williams, he's back in the seat. I was waiting for it.
But yeah, Mitch Barnett, outstanding. Jackson Ford was decent. Got through a bunch of work. I think didn't he drop a couple of balls though?
Yeah, I think he dropped his first carry that he had. He has got errors in him, Jackson Ford, but my God, he runs a mean line.
Just the thing is with Jackson Ford, and he would be my starting 11. But with this much pressure for that edge back row spot, you've got to clean that out of your game. Now, obviously, it can happen every now and then. Errors happen in rugby league, but you just got to make sure that's not a constant thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Curtis Capewell, I was genuinely surprised at how quickly he just went boom,
Yeah.
just
Seamless.
like seamlessly impacted the game. Did exactly what he did at the Broncos. Yeah. You look at his stats and you might go, oh, statistically, not that crazy. But when you actually watch what he does, it's actually
The Broncos may have hindered him. He looked great for the Warriors.
Kurt Cable's never been a stats guy, though.
Yeah.
It never tells a story with Cable.
Yeah, no, usually his stuff is all intangible. Like basically, you have to watch it to see what he does. You can't measure all the things that he does. Because ironically, he's in our team of the week, but you compare his stats to Jackson Forward's. Jackson Forward's is substantially better, 129 metres compared to 49 for Catewell. 28 tackles, only 1 miss for Ford, 35 tackles, only 2 miss for Catewell. But Catewell's impact, just big impact. Look, from the information we have with this squad, they're a red hot chance this year. A red hot chance. If I was to redo our predictions after these trials, I probably would change my prediction, but we can't do that.
And what would you change? Put them in top 4.
I would, at the very least, they would definitely be in my top 8 if after these trials.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Because you look at that, their attack, their defence compared to some of these other sides over the trials, night and day. Night and day.
And, you could give that mob 3 injuries. And the guys in the extended squad are unreal. Bring in. Marata Niokore can cover half your spots in your squad, as can Dylan Walker. They're in a very good spot.
Yeah. And also probably best young forwards and centre in the comp right now. Now to the Dolphins. I'm not too negative because I guess what I was surprised at was there were a few positional selections that I was like, oh shit. Now is that because Bennett didn't take it like he was giving people opportunity? I'm not sure. I will say little bit disappointing for the Dolphins. I love their fight in the end. I'm not concerned for them as a team. I think that they'll be better than last year. Obviously recruited well, all that kind of stuff. I will say, though, when looking at the other 6s and 7s in the trials, my biggest concern is their 6 and 7 going to develop quick enough to get them into the 8 this season and not next season?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. I just think on this trial as well, Wayne, obviously notorious for getting guys up for contests. Wayne also notorious for not giving a fuck about trials. I really don't look too far into this. The biggest heartbreak out of this, I'm sure we'll talk about himself, was Tom Gilbert, which is just a disaster. Yeah. Genuinely, the Dolphins deserve, we all sat here a year ago, no marquee player, all this shit. They'd identified one of the best forwards in rugby league before anyone else had, really. And since then, he's now got 2 season-ending injuries, one before the next season even started. Very cruel. But, yeah, form-wise at this side, I don't put much into it. I agree with you on the halves, though. That is going to be the big question mark. And where Nikorima fits into this as well. The beauty of it is that you have got him you can lean on. But, if you've started with Isaiah Katoa, you want to give him time, don't you?
Yeah,
I'm
unless
persisting with Isaiah Katoa.
Hey?
I'm persistent with him at 5'8". Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got one of the best, he is one of the best young halves in the game. He doesn't look, out of place at any stage in his career yet. He's only getting older. He's only putting on more size. I'd definitely be persisting with him.
I agree, which was a bit strange that even when someone got injured, Donahue came on. And funnily enough, I thought Donahue was one of their better players.
He's looked unreal. Every time I've seen him, pretty much since the end of last season when he played, internationals and stuff, he was great. I think when he debuted last year, they played him at 9 a little bit, and I thought he looked very uncomfortable. I didn't know too much about him before then, but sort of thought, I don't know if he is a hooker. Seeing him at 5'8", that's what he is.
Both games, he's been one of the best on field for the Dolphins in my opinion.
It all makes sense why he looks so uncomfortable at hooker.
Sean O'Sullivan, Bailey's HIA, hopefully good for round 1, we'd assume so. I hate to always be the guy that we get these Ferraris and I go, I need more work out of you. But I think Hamiso, they need him. They absolutely need him to have more than 8 runs.
For 51 metres.
8 runs. That in Origin, you can afford to be the centre that just has the big moments. We know how good he is. Like, unbelievable in defence and attack. But in this side, mate, you need minimum 15 to 20. I'd honestly be hoping 20 each game. That would be the goal, 20 runs.
He's a classic that I look at, though, and I come back to again, and I'm like, I just think Wayne will have him up for when it matters.
I hope so, but he has had a tendency to be quiet even at fullback. I mean, there was a period there where he was playing centre instead of fullback, and Nicolima was at fullback. I just want to see him with his hands on the ball far more often, because hands on the ball, Hamiso is genuinely top tier, like a top 10 player in the NRL. Like, he's shown in Origin he can take it to anyone, doesn't matter how good they are.
Something I haven't really thought about until now, but obviously Hamiso, like, he came off the bench and stuff for the Cowboys a couple of years ago. Last year, like, played just about every single game in different positions. Played Origin, then went and played for the Kangaroos. Be interesting to see how he comes back from that season, because he's never done more work than what he did last year.
Yeah, true. Like, it was a huge year for him.
Massive calendar year from where he's come in the past.
So I don't necessarily need him taking shit hit-ups, but at the same time, I just want him busy around the ruck. Like, him with the ball in his hand 20 times, you can almost guarantee at least one line break. That's how good he is.
Yeah, I was just double-checking that the 2 tries in the 67 minutes the Dolphins scored, they were both off kicks. The other one was the Bostock coming across and taking it high. So to not really crack them for 67 minutes, it's a massive credit to the Warriors. It's a bit of a concern for the Dolphins.
With a guy like Hamiso is genuinely, try scoring, can do unbelievable things.
But even just playing playing Cody Nicarima at 5'8", it's a very aggressive, very attacking mindset and move, and to have no real points there, it
is also tough when you lose your halfback to a HIA, you lose Tom Gilbert. Like, a lot of things didn't go their way, seemingly going up against a very good New Zealand side over there as well. So,
see, that's where I'm okay with, let's say he doesn't have a try assist or a try or whatever, but he's got 15 runs. I go, all right, sweet. But it's when you look at it and you go, like, 6-7 runs, it's like,
yeah, fair.
All right, you're on a big contract. They just need his hands on the ball more. Now, maybe he's been told by Wayne to be more of the Ferrari than, whatever, the Volvo. But I don't know. I just want his hands on the ball more, because he is genuinely a superstar, out-and-out superstar. Outside of that, Flegler seems really, really keen to be in the, he seems like he's taken another step towards wanting to be the leader of the pack. Had some good moments.
Thought it was really interesting, and obviously we can't see it here on NRL.com because they don't put the minutes there, but I'm pretty sure Flegler and Jesse Bromwich, they played the entire first half.
Yeah. It was a big stint. And I think, like, Wayne Bennett sees trials more as, like, fitness.
Yep.
So he'll, like, blow blokes out for, like, massive minutes just to get them feeling like when they do end up playing round one, that 20, 30-minute stint isn't really that much.
Yep.
The result is not an issue for me. It's more just probably the halves at the moment. When I look at those halves at where they're at their careers, Sean O'Sullivan, yes, he's a bit older, but he doesn't have much NRL experience.
Yep.
So he's still going to be learning. And then I obviously look at Toa. He's absolutely learning. One of the best young 7s and 6s in the comp, or 7s. And then I compare them to the other halves pairings that will be in the top 8. Are they there just yet? Maybe not. Could they be there next year? I think they could. Yeah. That's going to be the challenge, I think.
And I think that comes back to, once again, if you're going to run with a halves pairing like that, you need your pack to be really dominant. They've got an unbelievable pack, but losing Tom Gilbert, it's a tough gig.
Devastating for the big fella, seriously. Legend of a bloke too. Thoughts on Averillo starting?
I've got no idea what Wayne's going to do here.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Jeez, he's thrown a spanner in the work, hasn't he?
He hates trials. He's out here to screw with us.
Which is weird, because all the mail I'd been getting out of, and this maybe doesn't prove it's true, but all the mail I'd been getting out of the Dolphins was this was almost a different Wayne. He'd been, like, riding the boys in pre-season of strong start. Maybe I'm just hearing bad, information. But, in saying that, you can ride the boys in pre-season and still not care about the trials.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
Mate, I thought Jeremy Marshall-King, who I'm very high on this year, I thought he was a little bit quiet in this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, do Wayne Bennett's teams notoriously trial poorly? I would love to have a stat on that. Random stats guy.
Yeah.
Reach out.
That would be my vibe.
That would actually be a really good stat to find out, is like how the super coaches trial, because then you'll get a better reading on, Go forward. Hammy, what do you think of the Dolphins, mate?
Yeah, well, you mentioned, I was just going to say about Hamiso. Maybe he was deliberately keeping a little bit quiet just to get through a game, get a bit of, you spoke about it with Crichton as well, just run around, get out there, get all that happening. Because you're right, 8 runs, not great, but I wouldn't read too much particularly into that one. I don't have much to say about the Dolphins, really. Just really impressed with the Warriors in it. And, we've basically covered off on them.
Yep. So if the Dolphins make the 8 this year, I still think it's an incredible achievement. I really do. At the moment, I probably don't have them in my 8, even after the trial form. Like their first trial with their younger fellas was outstanding. But, I mean, to be honest, it's like typical results of a developing club where they've got really good junior base that, can beat most reserve grade sides, but that first grade side is just going to take a little bit longer to gel together to potentially. The positives, the difference heading into this year is not only have they signed Herbie and Thomas Flegler, and obviously Averillo, but the depth compared to last year, it's literally night and day. Like when a few people get injured last year, you're going, holy shit, who comes in? Whereas like, for example, let's say in Touchwood, Katoa, hopefully it doesn't go down, but let's say he gets a little injury. Donahue, I want to see him in first grade. I think I'll be very excited to. Whereas last year, I didn't even know, I didn't know he played footy. But did he play footy last year, Donahue? Sure he did.
Handful.
But for me, right now, player of the preseason trial for the Dolphins is actually Donahue. I think he's been outstanding. He really excites me.
Yeah, he's been really good. Very impressive. I think Tessie New's been really good, mate.
I want him to get a starting spot. I've been such a fan of Tessie New since he was at the Broncos, and I just love the way he plays. Like, he's just a battler. Every run, it seems like is his last run. Like, yeah, I'm a big. I think he's done enough to jag that spot, surely.
I think the man outside him too, Jack Bostock, I'd have been the first to tell you in the preseason that he wasn't ready for consistent first grade. I think he is.
I think the try that he scored was a real indication of why he had the front run to the wing spot, because I think Wayne saw him as an asset. Like Asako, yes, Asako's can jump high, but having a big, tall body on the wing like that, that can sometimes be 6 points a game.
Yeah, 16 runs, 140 metres as well. Very solid.
Hoping for a big year from Canelli Lemuelu.
I thought he was all right.
I thought he had some good signs on the weekend, some really promising, some damaging runs, and with the Gilbert injury, depending on what they want to do with Kenny Bromwich, but could open up that starting spot for Lemuelu again, because they could go Bromwich to the 13 now, opening up the edge. So
I think that makes the most sense.
I reckon so.
Yeah.
Man, where's that nice food smell coming from? It's killing me. Smells so. Can you smell that?
I'll be honest with you, no.
Really?
I'm getting a little bit of it, but don't look at me.
Well, it's the fucking +10 smell on my beak. Jeez. I feel sorry for you guys.
That's tomorrow's lunch, mate.
It's like people that can see leading the blind right now. But the smell.
What can you smell? What have they got next door?
I don't know. It smells good, though. It's like spider senses, but for beaks. Good food is around. Also can smell a lot. Okay, now on to Broncos versus Manly. Brought to you by Bloke Beer. Grab a case. Okay, thanks. Manly defeat. So this would have been for the. Oh no, because they lost against the Roosters. Anyway, so Broncos defeat Sea Eagles 40-14. Both teams essentially New South Wales Cup with some young guys in it. Really impressive with the Broncos, especially first 20 minutes. Manly looked to have. I think Manly were leading actually, but what I loved about the Broncos, similar-ish to the Warriors, similar-ish to the Penrith Panthers, is even their New South Wales Cup side had a Bronco kind of DNA to them. They were playing like a Bronco side. Now, that might be because Matty Ballin, I think he was the head coach of that younger Bronco side. So clearly Matty Ballin has some pretty big raps on him if he's going assistant coach in Origin. And then obviously he's head coaching this side here in Australia while the boys are away. Look, there are some really, really good youngsters. First guy I want to point out is Hoyter. I know he's a little bit older, but I tell you what, if you need an outside back that isn't going to break the bank, I think Hoyter, if I'm a club that needs an outside back, I'd be ringing him and seeing what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure. He's very, very talented. I think he captained this side too.
Yeah, he was a captain, yep.
Yeah, he was very good. Mate, I thought Hopewade on the Sting, he was very good as well. Both of them went for 70 post-contact metres, which is incredible. You think about Hopewade, he only ran for 160 metres, 70 was post-contact. So
Seriously crazy.
Yeah.
Look at it, like you got Pereira, 178 metres, Quay Ward, 152 metres, 77 tackle breaks, Hoyter, 181 metres, 5 tackle breaks, and Hopewade, the least out of the outside backs, outside of obviously the fullback, I think got injured, and he ran for 158 metres.
Yeah, Hoyter and Quay Ward, a centre pairing running for over 330 metres, 12 tackle busts between them.
And like, then you've got Pereira, who's also played first grade. Like the depth in the Broncos right now in the outside backs is outrageous. So if I'm a club that's desperate for outside backs, geez, I'd be giving any of those boys a call, seeing what's going on. You know?
yeah, I think Bailey Simonson did a hamstring on the weekend. So Parramatta, I know we keep bringing him up, but God, there's a lot of outside backs in this league that aren't getting a gig somewhere.
Yep.
That are well and truly ready. Even Jordan Pierre, mate. Like he has looked like such a good player for so long.
Yeah.
Just defensively, there's issues. I know, I get it, but he's just got so much ability.
Even defensively, like, I didn't think there was anything, like, terrible. He offers so much in attack. It's like you go, too many defensive misreads, whatever it might be, to justify not getting in an NRL spot. Now, you understand it at the Broncos because they're so flush for outside backs, but at any other club, jeez.
He's had his troubles previously, but the last few times I've seen him for the Broncos, I've been impressed.
Yeah. If you need an outside back, all those boys, I'd be definitely giving them a call, seeing what's going on, how much, what's their contract and blah, blah, blah. Because I think that any club that needs an outside back could do much worse than these boys. And, sometimes players like these boys just need a crack. Like, they just need 10 games in a row to just get an opportunity, and they take it with both hands.
Mate, I think the big talking point for you guys out of this one was Big Benny Takura.
Yeah, I think he was good. I thought Moser, before he went to half, was also outstanding. But, yeah, I agree with you. Bentakura, I love that. I honestly I feel like he has grown just in the 3 games that I've seen him. Obviously not physically grown because he can't. He's friggin' 3 metres tall. But form-wise, I think he's grown as a player in literally just the last 3 games that I've watched him play.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. And I think a lot of it is just match fitness. You can't emulate a game.
Especially when you're that size. Like, he's going to take time to get adjusted to the NRL and the speed of the game.
And he looked slow in the first game and everyone bagged the living shit out of him. Like, once again, shocked me. A guy that big needs a bit of match fitness.
It's like, that's the interwebs for you, Guru. That's the interwebs for you. I thought he was really good. And his motor for how big he is actually insane. Insane. The fact that he can get through that much work at such size is really, really impressive. And it's not going to be this year. It might not even be next year. But by the time he hits like 22, 23 years old, he's going to be ready. Like, you can even tell by his body, he's still got that kind of young body shape. Yep. As he gets into his man strength, oh God.
Well, I think Xavier Willison is the perfect example of that. We're sitting here talking about him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How good he looked. Even before that, before I was even here with you, I remember looking at him going, geez, he can play.
I saw him first.
Killing shotgun, are you?
I saw him first. Just saying.
You can have that.
I saw him first. Sorry.
You didn't see him first. Yeah, but he's a good example of, like, sometimes as a front row forward, I would prefer my front row forwards to come in when they're 21, 22 than that real young age.
Yeah, for sure. I saw him first. Blake Moser. I thought he was really good. I think people are starting to kind of warm to his style of play and understand that, he's not Harry Grant. He's not Damien Cook. You don't want to compare him to Cam Smith because obviously he's nowhere near Cam Smith. But the style of play is what he is going to be, a guy that can control the ruck, really good timing, picks his moments correctly, gets through a bunch of work, and by the end of the game, if you've watched really closely, you're going, geez, around the ruck, he just seemed to have. It's almost like it's similar to really good, like for example, Joey always seemed like he had time. Like, no matter how many times people were shooting off the line, they knew Joey was, the GOAT, all that kind of stuff. He just had time. And it's similar to Cam Smith. It's like players around him seem to go, especially like at marker, they seem to go in slow-mo. And that's, I think Moser has that ability to kind of dictate pace like that.
Slow Moser.
Slow Moser, there you go.
Not bad.
Not bad. Slow Moser.
You got him ahead of Corey Pakes in that kind of the pecking order of your hookers?
Corey, is he in ahead of, did you say?
In terms of your pecking order of your hookers and stuff?
Oh, at the moment?
Yeah.
Ooh. It really is relative to how good Smoothie and Walters are going.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're going really, really well, then like let's say Walters gets injured and Smoothie's been going great, then you could go, okay, sweet. You just put Smoothie in, you bring Pakes. Because you don't want to ruin his development just by getting him in too quick.
Yeah.
Now, if Smoothie and Pakes are struggling or something like that, then you'd probably consider speeding up his development.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, in regards to like re-signing, he would nearly be priority number one. Nearly be, depending on how they go this year. In regards to pecking order of selections, right now I would still, because I thought Corey Pakes was really good at the start of the year, I would still probably just keep Corey Pakes as selected before Moser,
Mm-hmm.
but that could absolutely change by around 13th, 14th and 15th. Because the last thing you want is a guy like that to get in first grade too young, getting big boys running at him and him having to do 50 tackles a game and, just not good for his development. But in regards to re-signing and keeping at the club, you could argue he's actually a priority in the hooking role. Kurt Forss, I thought he was really good. Going to be a great backup. He's another guy who's I think before he was doing his carpentry role and then he decided to give it another crack at Penrith and then he come back to the Broncos.
He went well at Penrith as well as that backup half. Obviously limited game times and whatnot, but thought he went well there. I don't believe he's top 30 at the Broncos yet, but pretty handy backup to have there.
Oh, it's a great backup to have for sure.
He played for both teams in their first trial of the year as well. Swap the jersey at half time and get yourself a man who can do both.
I'm trying to look for him because he's where is he? I thought he was really good. Joshua Patson. I think he's been good in all the trials that I've watched of the Broncos. Coming off the bench, number 17, a try assist, 102 metres off only 10 carries, 16 tackles, 0 missed. I think he's been really good. Just a really good showing, really, by pretty much. Like, there wasn't really a Broncos player that I was watching going, I didn't play that well. And we have to remember, most of these guys are they don't even train with first grade. They're with Wynnum and, I think it would be cool if it's hard to say because I know a lot of Broncos played in the last trial, but if like some of these boys could get some of that prize money, that'd be cool.
The mighty baby Broncos.
The baby. I mean, a lot of these guys aren't even, you don't even have pictures. Anyway, great trial for the Broncos. On to Manly.
Who'd you play last week? Brisbane again?
Cowboys.
But
we played Cowboys like Rezzies. And we had a lot of our main guys.
Yeah, you always get your way, Brisbane.
Oh, God. My God. Okay. Manly. I thought when they took Humphreys from 6, I didn't know if that was the right decision, but it is a trial, so you're trying to get minutes in. But Humphreys, for me, has been the standout for Manly in these trials in regards to fringy.
I hated seeing him named at 5'8". I completely agree with you. I thought, why on earth would they do this? And then I saw him play 5'8" and went, okay, it all makes sense.
Well, he is a 5'8", but they're trying to make a 9.
Yeah, I don't love, and again, I'll admit I haven't seen a ton of him through juniors, but speaking to people, reading reports, watching some highlights, they're trying to turn him into a 9, like just to fit the fact that in first grade they've got 2 gun halves there, or 2 blokes that aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So they're trying to turn him into a 9, but he looks like a great half. I see why they're doing it for the current side, and they can potentially slot him in as a 14. But I think all these juniors are in the halves.
Well, I agree with you. Is that the best decision long term for the club? Do you want him when DCE retires, which will be next 2 years, 3 years,
Couple of years or something.
We'll be super generous, 3 years. You want him at the ground running, like ready to go, like. And yes, that sucks for him because he'll have to play quite a lot of New South Wales Cup. And so you have to weigh up, I guess as a club for Manly, you have to weigh up, we don't want to lose this kid, so we need to try to get him into the side how we can. But at the same time, you cannot convince me that him playing 9 is the best development for a long-term 6. So I get both arguments. I don't know what the right answer is. I really don't.
Yeah, I personally think Gordon Chan Kum Tong is a very talented 9. I don't know if he lax enough to move a really good 5'8" to hooker, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know if you need to do it. And if I had Jamie Humphries in my side, I'm sure he can play 9 at a good click and whatnot, but watched him the other day. Just I'd be interested to see him come on and play a bit of 13.
I actually think he'd be a decent centre as well. Even a fullback.
He just looks like a footballer. He is.
You don't reckon, Timmy?
No, it's just so many positions just rattled off in one hit.
I don't think he's a front row forward.
He's not a front row forward, but I reckon he could play fullback for sure with his ball playing and his ball running. Centre at a pinch, and obviously 6, probably not 7 and 9.
But even if he long-term years a half, whatever that might be, he's still going to get opportunities this year in the top grade if he is the next half in line. Ches and Brooks aren't going to play every game this season. I mean, at the very least, Ches is playing Origin.
And if he is your 14, I mean, you don't necessarily have to take Lockie Croker off. We know he can do 80.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he's big enough yet to play 13. He'd get found out a little bit in defence. Maybe. I could be wrong. But in saying that, Kurt Mann and that come on and play.
Yeah, I think you can get away with being... I'm not going to play him there for huge minutes or anything like that,
20
but
minutes
I reckon he'd be able to handle himself there, personally.
But yeah, he's been a real shining light for Manly because, genuinely, for every minute he's played in these trials, he's been quite impactful. And also, the good thing is you always love to hear buzz from a club about a player, and then he comes out and delivers.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to hear is buzz, and then a player plays poorly, and like, okay, because then you get concerned about the club's eye for talent to a degree. Now, that sounds a bit dramatic, but it's not good. It's not good that they're going, oh mate, this guy, he's killing it, and he's going to be the next this and next that, and then he comes out and he gets dominated. Outside of that, look, I thought Sipley had a relatively good stint, but you would absolutely expect that against a side that he played. You would expect him to dominate. Who else stood out for you? Brad Parker's transition to back row is an interesting one. I'm going to keep a track of that.
Hank Scorpio, yeah. He looked good there. The thing that always surprised me with Brad Parker is just how big he is.
Yeah.
I remember when we went out to Combank Stadium during the year they were playing Manly and he was about 30 metres away from us. He's enormous.
Did you hear him say, grease me up, woman?
Wrong character.
Wrong
Yeah,
character.
close.
Yeah, go close.
I think Groundskeeper Willie.
I reckon he looks more like groundskeeper Willie.
Really?
Willie.
Do not touch Willie.
Good advice.
If you're at the back, though, weren't too bad. Max Lehman, Buff. All the cricket fans out there. A big South Australian cricket guy, Buff Lehman. 154 run metres, a couple of tries as well. Bailey Hodgson was pretty good with the ball in hand, but missed a couple of tackles, obviously, but ball in hand, pretty good. Look at this, 229 metres and 106 post-contacts.
Love that. No, I'm just laughing at the utter nonsense. That's the biggest sports podcast in the country, and we're talking fucking Simpson memes.
All for it.
And Buff Lehman.
And Buff
And
Lehman.
Buff Lehman.
We got you covered here.
We got you covered. You come for everything.
Good to see you. I haven't seen the name pop up in a while, but Watson Halita.
Okay, where was he hiding?
I just haven't seen him in a few years.
Oh, okay. Shout out Watto. Shout out Watto.
I had also been wondering where Watson Halita had been the last
Watto,
few
where you
years.
been, mate? Where's Watto?
Oh, where's Watto? Very good.
Shout out also what you just said though, Bailey Hodgson.
Yeah.
Struggled with a bit of injuries, didn't he? The Roo.
Yes,
And
yeah.
he's a pommy as
Yeah,
well.
he's come out.
We
Yeah,
won't hold
he's
that
the
against your brother.
nephew of Josh Hodgson, I
Yep.
believe.
Oh,
See, this kind of stuff I love to see in trials. 23 runs, 229 metres, 106 post-contact, 5 tackle breaks. A couple errors he needs to sort out. But I love young fellas that are that busy in games, desperate to just get involved. And also, as we were just saying, he's had a bit of an unlucky run with injuries. And who knows if he keeps playing like this in New South Wales Cup and they need a fullback and I don't know, they want to keep cooler in the centre. Maybe Hodgson gets...
Also, apologies to the great Watson Halita. He actually hasn't played first grade. I thought he'd played a game or two here or there, but he hasn't.
I'm glad we went that
I'll
far
wear
off
that
at
one.
Kempy.
bit of a Shane Watson there.
I would know a Watson when I saw one, Roo. Shout out Watson. Well, what a Halita. 105 metres, 54 post contact, 6 tackles, 0 misses. That's pretty good for a winger.
CB8.
There you go.
CBA.
Anyway, not much to read in regards to even though Manly were quite strong favourites in this game, Broncos notoriously have really good juniors, and they have a much bigger base to draw from. Yes, we are a battler club just doing our best, but we do have quite a large base to pull from. So this score is almost probably what it should be when you consider how much smaller of a base Manly has to pull from, plus the competition they have in that base. So, yeah, I think it's pretty accurate.
I think it was actually good to see a younger Bronco, or like your second grade Bronco side or whatever, not just relying on Tristan Saylor being the biggest freak on the field. So it was good to see them without him.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. On to the next game of the round. Dragons.
Important to remember these are just trials at this stage. Disclaimer. Just worth noting. Yeah.
Dragons defeat the West Tigers 34-18. Look, Dragons looked outstanding. On top of that, they look way better than they did at this time last year. Even though last week they were a little bit disappointing when all their first graders went off, they still looked better than they did this time last year. You know, you have to give credit, even though, you know, we've been like, I don't know how the Dragons are going to go. It's going to be a tough year. When you see a performance like that, yes, we can all go, it's just trials. You know, no offense, Hammy, just against the Tigers. We can roll that all out if we want to. But you've also got to give credit where credit is due. I thought they looked outstanding. I thought they looked like they had punch through the middle, more punch than I've seen in a very long time in a Dragon side. I thought Flanagan was really, really good. Benny Hunt was outstanding. I think their combination looked way better than it has looked. Sewer looks like he's almost back to his best Rabbitohs kind of form. Jack Bird looks like an out-and-out centre. Like, don't move him there. Really, really good showing for the Dragons, in my opinion.
Leave some guys for the rest of us, Kempy.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah, the centres are unreal. I reckon Moses Sully looks the best he's ever looked right now.
Yep.
Mate, beast. Absolute beast. And, like, even the... What I do like is you're seeing the crafty nature of a premiership-winning coach of these, like, specific plays on specific defenders. So he's gone, you know, Bud Sullivan on that edge, and he's gone, well, he's a smaller body.
Not a chance.
What are we going to do? We're going to get Ravalawa and Sully just to go at him on the try line and see what happens.
And that wasn't that just had Flano all over it.
Yeah.
It was first or second try, little going from dummy half across, brings Sully under.
Yeah.
Again, like, it looks simple, but the Dragons haven't done it for a few years. Awesome coaching. And
coaching.
even that, like, Sully did look as good as he has in years, but also they just utilised him and got him into the game really well.
Yeah. Instead of him having just take shit hit up after shit hit up, they actually had a set play, got to a certain point on the field. And whether it's Bud Sullivan or you know, Aiden Caesar or any seven in the comp, you know, unless you're one of the top tier best defenders like a Clear or something, even a Cleary, you're getting bumped in that situation. Like, it's almost impossible physically for a half to stop those two boys at full pelt on the line like that.
Yeah.
And that's just really shrewd coaching, like really smart, crafty coaching that, you know, it's the part of the game that coaches don't get enough credit for, where imagine the coach isn't Flanagan and it's in a do-or-die close game and you need 6 points. That's where tactics come out. And that's why it's so important for the Dragons to have a premiership winning coach like Flanagan, because, like, he's a cream of the crop. He can do things like that. He can have tactics and make sure the boys execute them. Like everyone, Francis Molo's been outstanding. Little obviously great. If anything, Molo, well, not if anything, but he was the best front row on the field in my opinion. Then you got Sewer, who was also outstanding. It's funny because you got guys like DeBellin and Laurie that were a bit quiet, and I don't think Laurie played that many minutes. And then you got the other guys that are usually a little bit more quiet stepping up, which is a really, really good sign for the Dragons.
Not to mention, Luciano Leilua is going to walk in there over the next few days. So I think Jaden Sewer said post-game that he would probably move to the right-hand side.
Okay.
Leilua on the left. So you get Leilua, Sully, Ravalawa on that side.
And an edge back from a forward pack heading into this year where we were sitting there going, I don't know where the punch is. Like, they need to get people in that forward. They've got plenty of battlers, which we all love. And then for Sewer to come out and, you know, get his form back. And granted, he's been injured, so it's hard for him to get form. And then Leilua. So you're going to have an edge of Sewer, Leilua. It's pretty bloody good.
Quickly do things change, like how much better that looks. As you said, Sewer returning to the form we know he's capable of. And then you had Luciano in there.
It's not bad. It's
Not
really
bad at
like...
all.
Sewer at his best has played Origin. Leilua was one of Cowboys' best forwards, especially last year, that they can take it to top 8 sides at their best, that edge back row. And then you pair it with Benny Hunt, pair it with, Sully, with Bird. Like, it's kind of starting to look. I think that the Dragons, for most of the year, will be quite competitive. The biggest, I guess, battle for them will be their depth, I think.
Yeah, and as you said, Kemp at the top of the game, it's easy to be cynical about, saying, I was against the Tigers, who were wooden spooners last year. They look poor in that. The Tigers completed at 95%.
Yeah.
And they still towed them up.
Yeah. And just dominated them, through the ruck. This is a 4-pack that we all agreed heading into the season, we would probably put them at one of the lower tier forward packs. Completely dominated them.
I think when you look at the Dragons in their opening draw, they go the Titans, the Dolphins, Cowboys, then into Manly. It's 4 games that they can win there.
Put it this way. That Dragon side beats that Gold Coast Titans side yesterday.
If they play the way they did, and that's my, not worry, but that's what I'm interested to see is that, we sat here last Monday, probably the most disappointing side, let's be honest with you, was the Dragons. They copped a lot during the week. Was that, them getting their back up off the back of that? Are they going to be able to do this consistently? That's going to be their big test.
Yeah. Look, I was definitely disappointed with the Dragons last week, but I thought the first 20 when they had their starting side on was pretty good last week. It was just, and also, again, they're playing the Rabbitohs here. Like, we're not talking, a bang average side. We're talking about a side that a lot of people have winning the comp. But it will be interesting, and it's basically what you're saying, is that will it be a season of loss, back against the wall, win, loss, back against the wall, win? Honestly, as a Dragons fan, you're probably taking that though, aren't you, at the moment? It's not ideal.
It's not ideal, but all things considered.
If you're winning every second or third game, I'll cop that as a Dragons fan at the moment.
Yeah, but I guess that will just make it frustrating when you see performances like Saturday night. You go, fuck, look at what we can do, what we're capable of. Mate, I've got to give him a rap. We've been critical of him over the last year or so, or if you want to call it critical, whatever. Tyrell Sloan, I thought he was really good in this game.
He was really good, really good. There was, probably only, there's only probably one defensive thing there. I felt like he could have put his body in the line. But that's being too critical, way too critical. He was, for example, the difference between Sloan last week and this week, makes a line break, gets run down, doesn't throw an offload over his head, takes the tackle, they go again. And I will say, if Flanagan manages to get the best out of Sloan, you could genuinely make the argument it's one of his best achievements as a coach, outside of obviously winning a comp. But to get a guy like Sloan, who for years we all know how good he is, if he can do this week in, week out, it's a huge win.
And it turns their season on its head.
Massively.
If you are then able to keep Lomax on the wing or in the centres, wherever he may land, depending on injuries and what happens, it's a huge win.
If he turns him into a regular NRL player and, smooths out these rough edges and he becomes anything close to the player that we know he can be, you've all of a sudden got one of the most explosive fullbacks in the NRL at the back for you.
Yeah. Then you've got probably a hungry Lomax who's going, I need to keep my spot here on the wing, even though Lomax...
now he's lost his centre spot.
Yeah. So you've got a guy in Lomax going, oh shit, and I do think you saw a different Lomax this week. I thought he was much more engaged, especially the first part of the game. It's one trial, guys, we get that. If they come out in round one and get tailed up, we're not going to be going, oh, that was a surprise. But at the same time, what more can you ask from this team? Yep. If you're going to sit there and be like, oh, no, it was nothing, it's like, well, what do you want then? When they lose, you put shit on them. When they play really well, you put shit on them. What's the point of even talking about it?
I'm not changing predictions and saying I've got them bottom 2. I still do. But as you said, what more could they have done?
My prediction is still the same as probably all of us. I think first 12 to 14 rounds, they're going to be one of the worst sides to play because they're just going to be grindy, tough, hard to get a win. So they might hover around, your 10th to 12th, even 9th to 12th. It's going to be the back end of the season that I'm a bit interested to see how they go depth-wise.
So what, if I was a Dragons fan, I think the thing that would have me the most excited of all was the back end of the game. They flashed to the sideline. Benny Hunt was there, smiling, laughing. He looked happy. First time I've seen it in quite some time.
And also as a Dragons fan, what I would be excited about, at least use a try and I feel like for many years, every signing was safe. The game plan was safe. And it was just there wasn't energy around the joint. what I like about the Dragons now is they're either going to fail big or they're going to win big. Not this middle ground of like, oh, we'll just have a middle year again and we'll just go quietly, in the middle of the bottom of the table. It's like, fail big. I'd rather fail big than just like do a nothing thing.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Fail big?
Fail big.
Yeah. Well, don't fail too much big. When you come last. But I've always of the mind of you go all in. This I never understood it seemed like for the last few years, everything was so safe. Like the signings were good, solid NRL players that could kind of get through their work. Whereas this year they're going, okay, Leilua was on the market. Yep, is the price a little bit inflated? Yeah, to a degree. But if we land him and he kills it, it's going to be an incredible signing. On top of that, Sloan, everyone said pick Lomax. Flanagan's gone, nah. Everyone's telling me not to. I believe in the kid. I'm going to give him a crack. We're yet to see whether it'll work out, but at least he's, living by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing.
And that's where if you are the Dragons making signings like a guy like Leilua, would they have been hesitant to sign him last year without a coach that they know can get the best out of guys? All of a sudden, Flano walks in there and you go, you know what, fuck it, we'll back ourselves to get something out of him.
And also in Leilua's, I guess, I wouldn't say defence, but I bet there's no way Leilua thinks he's going to go down there and it's going to be cruisy. Like if you think you're walking into a Flanagan team and it's going to be cruisy, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
Kyle Flanagan, want to give him raps. Look, he did play more of the 7 role to a degree, and actually Ben Hunt did come out last week because our concerns were, how does he fit as a 6 because he's a 7, and then Benny Hunt's going to be like, do you take the ball coming out of our own end? And Ben Hunt, literally, that's what he came out and said. He said, I'm going to have to get used to trusting Flanagan more to do that kind of stuff. But I thought their partnership was great. I really did. Thought it was really good this week. And if they can just keep building on that, it's great news. Dragons.
Yeah. Credit to Flano. Very good performance there.
And also that's another kind of live by the sword, die by the sword. Like the risk to go out and sign your son, knowing the extra heat that brings, yeah, at least he's going all in.
Are you going to sign your son when you're coaching the Broncos?
No, he's got to earn it.
Okay.
Gotta earn it.
Yep.
You know what? When I'm coaching the Broncos, you'll have him? No, that's not going to happen.
I already signed him up last week.
You sign him up like, yeah, that's a good point. CBA merch, bloke.shop, grab it. No, he's going to have to earn that, mate. Yep. He's going to have to earn that, right? Okay. Now, on to the Tigers. Man, what a strange team to kind of like analyse, because their completion rate was really good. You look at their starting sides and they look quite strong. I want to start with the positives. I thought Stefano had one of his better games. I think he looks fired up this year. I think he looks like he almost understands the clock is ticking on people going, mate, are you going to fulfill your potential or you're not going to fulfill your potential? I don't think he is going to be satisfied with just being, oh yeah, I'm just a good NRL front rower. I think he's only going to be satisfied when he fulfills his potential. So that was positive for him. 18 runs, 187 metres, 76 post contact, 10 tackle breaks. When was the last time you saw Stefano have 10 tackle breaks?
Geez, that's good.
It's bloody good.
Any front row, for that matter.
Mate, really good. 21 tackles, only 1 miss. So, yeah, a really, really good knock for Stefano. And that's something that, in a tough night as a Tigers fan, that should get you excited, in my opinion. Like something to hold on to and go, well, at least we're seeing something there.
Mate, if the Tigers manage to unearth Stefano as the front rower, we know he can be, God, it's a game changer.
Absolutely. It's exactly what their forward pack needs.
It's already a good forward pack. If you throw a gun Stefano in there.
Huge.
The concern I guess I have with the Tigers is that starting 13, or even you could say starting 14 with 12, is, quality. It's just when the bench and that come on, they're quality players, but they just are. It sometimes looks like they're okay with not trailing on the inside, or a drop ball here or a drop ball there. Just like the little things sometimes can fall through the cracks when their starting 13 isn't on the side. Look, it's not. The real positive is, yes, it obviously sucks that it was quite a dominant display by the Dragons, but they completed at 95%. So at the very least, you've got a team that is buying in to what Benji Marshall is saying. That's a strong, strong message of a team that is buying into what their coach is saying. And also, I do think that I'm pretty sure they played with their starting side, brought players off quicker, I think. I'm just trying to look at their stats here. So run meters, they actually had more run meters. They had more post-contact meters. They're just lacking that X factor that the Dragons had in Sloan, in Ben Hunt, in Sully, because it's 8 line breaks to 3. I'm just trying to find defence.
What a weird stats game.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That is bizarre.
So, as a Tigers fan, I get it. Disappointing is everything. But all of the areas where, statistically, all of the things that you want ticked were kind of ticked. Just the one stat that matters, obviously, you didn't tick. So it's not as bad as, let's say you rolled in and we looked at it, said 65% completion rate. You missed, 60 tackles, 70 tackles, something like that. That would be concerning. So disappointing night, but there are little slivers of hope in my opinion.
There are silver linings there for sure. What are we thinking with these halves, boys? I thought Galvin looked unreal when he was on the field.
He really does. And the only issue I have with rushing him in is it's almost like the Brooks situation where you rush him in now, you've got a club's hopes on a young fella's shoulders. Do you want that really early in his career?
So much pressure on him coming into a wooden spoon club. He looked good though.
He looked the best in my opinion out of the halves.
You look at
on the Tiger side.
Look at the numbers, as you said. The completion rate was a massive tick for them and very encouraging. But at the same time, they had 59% of possession after 34 minutes and were down 24-0. So despite all the ball that they had, possession, they said they won the meter, the yardage. They still couldn't really put points on the board in that first half. I thought their forward pack at times last year were decent enough. It was the same problems, just fragile edge defence. It was so leaky. The Dragons were walking through them.
Yeah. And also, outside back-wise, do they have the same strike as a lot of top-tier squad? They are probably short a few outside backs.
Yep.
I'm trying to be glass half full.
You've done a good job of it, mate.
Thank you.
This Galvin situation.
You're on board?
I'm pretty glass half full. I'll let Rue go
This
first.
Galvin situation just reminds me a lot of Isaiah Katoa last year. Wayne Bennett spoke about him all pre-season. I think we all sort of sat here and went, he's too young, he's too inexperienced. They'll go for Cody Nikorima. Wayne was talking about him during the pre-season. Benji hasn't shut up about him all off-season. I reckon there's every chance he names him. I was going to say round 1, round 2.
What do you go? What, Caesar? Go.
I reckon there's a real chance to.
Yeah, okay.
Got Caesar and Galvin.
Not Bud.
I think so. I would go Bud, personally, but I don't know. It feels like Isaiah Katoa all over again to me.
Could you just play Galvin off the bench and ease him in a bit?
Yeah, that would be what I would do.
Especially because he's fairly versatile. He can play edge back row, he can play halves, he can play centre. So you could do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to start him. Just so much pressure. But off the bench, maybe. What do you reckon, Hammy, about that Tigers?
Yeah, glass half full for me, certainly. Kempy.
I love that from you, mate.
Look, if we won this game, we would have won the pre-season challenge, potentially. And the Tigers know that teams that win the pre-season challenge don't make finals, they don't win comps. So
you threw the game.
We let it through the keeper. What did? We worked on some stuff we needed to work on. Completion, terrible last year. Got to the end of our sets. You touched on it before. A couple of little things that were an issue for us. We addressed those. So there's, building towards a few things there. We also came up against a team that had 4 players in the team of the week: Sully, Ravalawa, Hunt, and Sewer. We had 2 honourable mentions, Sloan and Little, who just played the game of their lives for the last season and a half. So look,
I'm getting a feeling that this isn't genuine analysis and it's purely fan analysis.
No way. No. No way. But you're quite right. Lockie Galvin is the exciting one. I'm inclined to agree with Timmy, though. I reckon start him off the bench, ease him in. Good point you made as well, Kempy, about getting a young gun half in there and going, this is our guy, heaping the pressure on him. End up overpaying him. He hates it and leaves in 10 years. We don't want that with Lockie Galvin.
Then he went to Clive.
Yeah, they went to Clive at great odds. No, I think I want to get him in there, but I don't want to rush him in there. And, he is versatile. He played, 4 positions just about the other day, Rue as well, nipped into the centres and stuff as well. A lot to like about Lockie Galvin, but I don't think I'll be starting him at number 6. Don't think Benji will do that as well.
What I love the most about Lockie Galvin is we've heard about his half playing ability from Benji, and we've heard about all that. But to come on and have 16 runs as a young fella, Like, that's such a good attitude to have. I know I'm harping on about it. I even had one comment last week say, "Shut up with your shit stories, Dan."
Sorry about that.
But it is so important. You want your rookies. They don't need to be arrogant or cocky, but just fucking rip in. And that's what I like about Galvin, because let's say he is an out 6, would you say? Or 7?
Maybe.
Not 7, I reckon.
Not 7, 6? Yeah. Let's say he's an out 6. Tell me how many out and out rookie, like teenage sixes, come on and rip and tear for 16 runs. Like, it does not happen. It doesn't happen.
And he just looks like the sort of kid that I imagine when Bud Sullivan came back on, he would have run out and said, "I want you to play second row." He would have gone, "Yep,
Yeah, sweet.
I'm there."
I'll tell you what, if he can, like, what a boon for them. If he is so good defensively, he can play second row, but he's in the 6th jersey.
Yeah.
Look, that's another exciting thing, obviously, is when you unearth guys like this. In an NRL trial, to have the impact that he had, like, that's a big win from a preseason tournament.
Yep.
Big win.
Yep.
Also, it's a massive positive for Benji Marshall to be able to identify that. What do we talk about, Manly? Talking players up, and then they deliver. That's a huge win.
Yep.
Huge win. Outside of that, yeah, so look, glass half full. Stefano killed it. And you've got guys like Galvin, who obviously rookie coming through and killed it. Now it's just a matter of, because the thing is, what's clear here is the edge defense needs to be sorted, yes. But what's clear here is the forwards can get good field position. They can win battles. Now it's just about the 6s, 7s, and 1s having to execute on that, and the outside backs being explosive enough to get the points. All right, boxing guys. I know I've got some big announcements coming. The huge Tim Tszyu fight in Vegas at the end of March. And KO and myself might be doing something so freaking cool for it, so stay tuned for that. But rising super bantamweight contender Sam Goodman returns to the ring in the hopes of continuing his run for world title shot when he faces Mark Schliebs in the co-main event. Fan favourite Isaac Headsplitter Hardman will face Venezuelan Endry Saavedra. That is Wednesday, the 13th of March. Order exclusively on Main Event with KO Sports. No KO subscription is needed. Make sure to order the fights, guys. Aussie boxing. We want to get it bigger. We want to support it. Plus, Sam Goodman and also the head splitter, Isaac, notoriously put on good fights, guys. That is March 13th. Grab your order. Support KO, those supporting us. We really appreciate it. And also, love me a bit of Australian boxing. Now, onto the Cowboys defeating the Raiders. Don't forget, guys, grab a case of Bloke Beer, the beer of rugby league. Cowboys defeat the Raiders 36-26. From this, I think there's actually a lot of positives from both sides. I don't think either side came out looking too poor. Almost a game of two halves, really. Like, the Raiders started really strong, and then obviously Cowboys came home strong. We'll start with the Cowboys. I guess the really exciting thing for them is when they click, like, they can just put points on you, roll you down the field. Nanai and Lukey both had big games, and what's the most exciting thing for me is I've been speaking about Scotty Drinkwater for a few years now, so obviously that's one. But it really feels like Nanai and Lukey have almost I don't know if they've done this, but what I would like them to do is a similar-ish thing to what the Broncos young forward pack have done, and kind of like team up and say, mate, if we're to do anything, it's going to be on the back of us young forwards taking us forward. And I think that you watched on the weekend two really, really eager young gun outside edge back rowers, really keen to stamp their authority on the NRL.
Yeah, I thought both were very good. Obviously, Lewis left, which has opened a spot there. I think Helam Lukey, if he can just stay fit this year, I think he has a big season. Really looking forward to him this year. And yeah, mate, the Cowboys, when they clicked and when they're firing and when Drinkwater's just getting good ball, they're close to unstoppable.
I think even before Luciano left, I reckon Lukey was going to partner Nanai there, and I reckon Luciano would have played more of a middle sort of 13 role. Like, in 6-7 months' time, we could be saying the Cowboys have the best edge back row combination in the NRL. I really hope we do, because the talent in these two footballers is so high, and I hope we see it unfold in 2020.
And not only could we be saying they have the best second row combination, but we could also be looking at Finay Fuiaki and saying he's the next best.
Yeah. And like, the only thing that would stop them from being the Queensland back row is you could argue maybe Fafita gets that spot.
Yeah.
But in the future, because they're both so young, like 21, 22.
Well, last year it was They had like Cotter spent time on the edge for them. I think
Because Gilbert got
play
injured.
there. Gilbert.
Gilbert got injured for game 1. Cotter went there. And then I think game...
No, I got dropped, didn't he? Or injured.
No, he came back in. Did he? For game 3.
I felt like he played game 1 and then was out round 2, or it might have been the other way around.
Oh, I'm trying to think.
Because Fafita will be one edge.
I could have sworn he played really well in Origin this year. Or maybe I'm thinking of the year before.
Yeah, I blank
think year
Origin out of
before.
my memory.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, we'll get the game.
Then I played game 2 and 3 this year.
Yeah. Because he was injured and he got a call from Billy Slater early in the year and said, basically, mate, I need you to step it up. And it was Fafita and Nanai, wasn't it, game 3 or 2?
Fafita, yep.
Because Fafita was a really good Origin this year. Key Catewell didn't make it. Yeah, okay. So it would have been Cotter game 1, probably Fafita and Nanai game 2, 3, probably. Luxury to have. But yeah, these guys, they genuinely. I'm trying to think, who's a back row that would compete with them on their best day?
On their day.
You've got obviously Liam Munn, incredible, but on that other edge you would have Sorensen. Probably. Very different players to those boys. Trying to think who else. You've got Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead. You've got Ricky Piacora. Both at their best, maybe, but
Dragons,
saying that,
Sewer and Leilua.
to be honest, it's not that bad of a shout.
Yeah.
Them both at their potential. Leilua playing the best footy he can play and Sewer playing the best footy he can play is genuinely good.
I think as far as excitement and high ceiling second rowers,
Probably number 1.
it's probably number 1. Maybe if you get Wong and Angus Crichton at their absolute best, then you may be talking, but these two will be there round 1. We know that.
Obviously, any regular watchers of footy know who Luke is, but a lot of casual footy fans wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah, true.
But
he's been. It's just been injury that's held him back.
for sure.
Yeah.
That'll be different if he can stay fit for the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season.
On that note, don't bring him into your Supercoach sides.
Yeah, avoid him.
Avoid him at all costs, guys.
No, bring him in, boys. Got to risk it for the biscuit, boys.
Game 2 was Cotter and Fafita, and Nanai was on the bench. And then game 3, Nanai started.
Okay. There you go.
They changed 3 times.
There you go. Still got the job done. Okay. Some other boys that played really well for the Cowboys. Obviously, Drinkwater. I honestly think Drinkwater is the best ball-playing fullback in the competition, closely followed by Kalen Ponga. But I just feel because Kalen can rely on his size a bit more, he doesn't necessarily have to. Whereas Scotty Drinkwater, it's his footwork and his ball-playing. They are his weapons. And geez, that left to right pass is a thing of beauty.
That one he threw to Felt was unbelievable. That just went like a rocket. But
And he
then
just
I
snapped
loved
it too, just like
snap,
a boom,
yeah.
not a big lead up, nothing, just boom, straight at hands.
You go.
I was to say that moment when he threw that first, I think it might have been the first run out to Felt, was the real first one. I was like, footy's back, boys. That's what we've been missing. That was special.
But then I love the next one where he got it down the short side and he went off his left foot and then just soft hands it back. He can just do it all, Drinky. And you just, as soon as he went down that short side, he came his left, just the whole line shift to chase him.
Yeah.
He just had it on a string.
Best, yeah. It's and even the one where he dropped him under and they scored, that wasn't pre-planned. That wasn't something that it was just off the cuff. And it's one thing to do that pre-planned and time that run perfectly of the drop under. To do it not planned and still land the ball perfectly where it needs to go is tough.
Yeah, and you can just see the urgency of the defensive line whenever he gets the ball at pace. Everyone just panics.
Yeah. I still, for the life of me, cannot believe he wasn't in that New South Wales squad. Even if you're not going to play him, I just feel like he has a point of difference that every fullback that was in that squad, they don't have what Scotty Drinkwater has. So even if you aren't going to select him, he's still a point of difference that you may go down that route of we're going to go an out-and-out ball-playing fullback.
Not our best call, definitely not our worst, though.
So, yeah, exciting. Who else played really well? Obviously, Kyle Felt got 3 tries. Could have been bloody 1,000.
I thought Laybutt was unreal.
I was about to say Laybutt. You've been pretty high on him for a bit. I mean, we've kind of all been. You would have known him before he played first grade, but even when he played first grade, I was just really impressed with. Doesn't look that strong, but in contact seems to win the contact. Doesn't look that fast, but when he needs pace, he has it. He's just a good solid centre.
2 line breaks, 1 line break assist, 1 try assist, 8 tackle breaks.
Yeah.
From a guy that isn't, the biggest dude on the field.
Yeah, like so for example, forgetting his name, the Warriors centre, Leotow. Like when he runs on the field, you're like, oh shit, he is an absolute giant. He is going to break tackles. When Leibart does, you go, okay, good, solid, physique. But then you actually watch him play and you're like, holy shit. Little bit of concern with Val Holmes. Just the Timoko, I guess, stand up. I don't know whether that was Timoko just being outstanding or Val Holmes does have a tendency. 1 game out of 10, he just goes.
Isn't it bizarre that he has this in his game?
Yeah.
That just out of the blue, he can just get stood up. Like you very rarely see centres get stood up. But I still think he's top 3 centre in rugby league.
Savatoa at Leichhardt.
I was saying Toa last year, twice or 2 or 3 times in a game.
Yeah.
He just has 1 game in 10. Like, we all agree, Val Holmes tackles him every day of the week. So it's not like a skill gap. He just has some games where he just must head not be there or something. So hopefully got that out of the way because they desperately need him to have a big year.
Best week to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outside of Origin.
Also, Cohen Hess, sending our best wishes. Most likely out for the year with the knee injury, I'm pretty sure it was.
Played every game last year too.
Yeah, he's just improved so much. He exploded onto the scene, looked like an Origin shoe-in for the rest of his career, kind of fell away a bit, but the last couple of years he's been great for the Cowboys.
Yeah, obviously got that injury, which is a tough one. Wish him all the best. But what about the timing from Thomas McKaylee? As he goes down, there's a little sniff of an opportunity.
Unlike a bloke to leave the Tigers and then play the game of his life immediately after. He was elite, wasn't he? 6 tackle breaks, 4 offloads, 2 tries. Smashed it.
Now, I was talking to Hammy before show camp here about his Supercoach side and how he's looking. He said, I've got Michaela. And we went, he played well on the weekend. He said, I had him before the weekend.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
That's a good Supercoach player.
No big deal. Stop bringing it up. You're on notice.
That's the kind of energy you're coming with this year.
I'm coming for you.
The good thing for McKaylee, he's actually only 26 years old still. So we're not looking at a 30-year-old front rower that's been around the block and, he had this one good game. If he can just get it, like he's always had the ability. You watch him play sometimes, you're like, big, explosive, good footwork for how big he is. If he can just get it together, and maybe the Cowboys have been notorious. Look at Valamay since going up there. He could be a massive pickup for the Cowboys.
He's always been a bit of a mirage. He looks unreal. He looks fantastic. And then you get up close and you see him for a couple of weeks and he just can't seem to put it together consistently. But yesterday... God, that was impressive. I hope he can put it together.
And he does offer quite a point of difference in that front row that the Cowboys have kind of lacked.
Yep.
You got a Taumalolo who's just a meter eater, like post contact. Jordan McLean, very up and down. Even Ruben Cotter, just get through the tough work. They don't really have a front rower that can, kind of like a Flegler to a degree, that can add an offload.
And the beauty of this is that he only has to play, I reckon, 25 minutes. Just come on and just disrupt whatever's going on. Similar to what Taylor May sort of did at parts of last year for the Roosters. He could play that role so well.
Yeah, I was looking at doing sort of predicted teams for them, a month ago, and looking at how much forward depth the Cowboys had, and in particular middles. This was obviously before Luciano left, but Thomas McKaylee wasn't even on my radar, and then all of a sudden, he could be one of the best off the bench for them. What we've seen.
Some really good stats for the Cowboys. 1,927 run meters compared to only 1,290 from the Raiders. It's pretty incredible considering that Raiders forward pack. Now, maybe that was because the Raiders did kind of rotate essentially for the last, what was it? What do you reckon? 30, 40 minutes of the game. They pulled most of their guys off. Well, not most of their guys, but a few of their guys.
No starting forwards ran over 80 metres. Trey Mooney off the bench, 87 was like our Sami Saulo, 89 off the bench, Atamaro 95. So,
yeah. So it's really good signs for the Cowboys that they were able to dominate notorious, Raiders forward pack. Look, it's the only concern is just that slow start from the Cowboys. I just get worried it's becoming a bit of a, I wouldn't say a pattern, but a habit where even in a game or a season where they just seem to go, yeah, okay, we'll give the first 20 up. Okay, now we're in the game. We're woken up. We're ready to go. That's my for a side that should be hitting the ground running and challenging for a premiership. That's my hope. My hope for them is they hit the ground running round one. They get those early points, so that if they need to, they can afford to have that mid-year slump. Because like what happened last year, started really slow, then just went boom, started killing it, had another mid-year slump, and they just couldn't catch up from there on out. And so I just hope they get those points early, Cowboys.
Does anything scream NRL trials more than 7 goals kicked in this game by 6 different dudes?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Outside of that, so Vinny Fuaki, 21, number 21. Do you reckon he's not even in the 17?
Yeah, I don't.
I think with Luciano now gone, it might give him a spot on the bench because I think Lukey, I don't know if he'll play 80 for Supercoach purposes. I hope we do. We know he hasn't in the past, but that could largely be due to injury issues. Nanai will play 80, but Fuaki, you think he's the next edge up?
I'd say so. Yeah. I think he'll probably get a bit. I'll tell you who I've heard good things out of there though is Sam McIntyre.
Yeah,
that they are liking him. So. What a spot to be in. Finay Fuiaki maybe doesn't get a bait in your side. Crazy.
What about the great Jakey Granville? Just battling away off the bench.
I was about to bring it up. He actually played a bit of 9. Do we think that they might play Reece Robson less minutes, or do you think it's just...
Surely. We've been over it a million times. You don't have to play your hooker 80. Don't play him 80.
Drafted in my Supercoach side, so I'm going to backflip on that and push for 80 minutes.
Okay. But yeah, so like as good a signs as you could have. I guess if you wanted to be super critical, Dearden and Townsend, relatively quiet. I didn't really feel like they stamped their authority on the game to what we know they can. But also definitely not bad at all. Like they didn't play, they bloody won. But yeah, a little bit quiet.
Is Colefelt the only guy in the world that could drop a bomb that leads to a try and still manage to score 3? Almost 4 tries in a game.
Yeah, crazy. His ability to score finish is amazing. But yeah, like Dearden, for example, he ran over 100 metres, which was great, but he had 5 missed tackles, which is very un-Dearden-like. Townsend definitely took time to warm into the game. But outside of that, very exciting times. Like this squad can push for a premiership. It really put it this way, if they get even close to not making the 8, it's an extremely disappointing year. When you look at this squad on paper, it is a bloody good squad in my opinion.
Completely agree. Yeah.
Now onto the Raiders. Raiders do what they do best. Like you look at all their stats and go, oh, they would have got pumped. But if you actually watch the game, they were winning most of the game. Look, the big takeaway for me for the Raiders, and I'll let you talk about it more, but it's Ethan Strange. He has to be the 6. He has to be the 6th round one, in my opinion. I thought he was outstanding. We talked about last week that although they didn't set the world alight, they just were. They had that excitement around them. Something was going to happen, and I think Strange really took that into this game. What do you think, Timmy?
Yeah, we conceded 5 tries, which all came in the second half, and players, we sort of chopped and changed what our regular side will be for round 1. So I don't look too much into that.
Fogarty as well.
Yeah, exactly. Fogarty. No Tapani, yep. So you're right, Strange was the biggest take from it. And I sort of put something out on Twitter on the weekend and sort of surprisingly got a little bit of pushback around saying that Strange will be the 5'8", KO Weeks won't be there. Like, those 2 players were in a shootout for the starting 5'8" spot across the trial games. And in my eyes, Strange came out an emphatic winner. I think he looks better. I think he looks more ready to start in the halves for the Raiders despite having less NRL experience. KO Weeks, there's certainly promise to. He's got speed. He looks relatively strong. But to this point in the NRL, between Manly and a few trials now for the Raiders, I'm yet to sort of see anything close to what the hype is. As I said, he's young, plenty of potential, but on what we've seen the first 2 games, Ethan Strange, particularly defensively, did a really good job on Lukey, who was so damaging, managed to chop him down just about every time.
You're not going to get a much harder back rower to tackle than Lukey.
I think Strange has to be the 6.
Surely. If I was selecting the side, he is locked in immediately.
Yeah.
And also, he played the way a Raiders 6 plays. I know he's playing 7, but, he was just on the ball a lot, really aggressive. Obviously, that try was fantastic. And just even in contact, I don't know. When he got the ball in his hands, I was on the edge of my seat.
Yep.
Something's happening. And Weeks, I agree with you. plenty of potential with Weeks. Like, there's plenty of potential there. I just think it's going to take a little bit longer, whereas I feel like Strange, being such a rookie, I know he debuted last year, I think he's the kind of guy that you take a little bit of risk on, but the reward could be massive.
Yeah, and start KO in the New South Wales Cup. Let him go back there. Let him kill it. Let him get his confidence up and push for that spot.
Yeah, I agree. I'd have Ethan Strange as my 6. I've been saying for a long time, I think he's always been a better 6 than he is a centre, despite what we saw for New South Wales 19s last year. And as Timmy said, I think defensively, that was the big difference. And I think that Ricky Stewart will, we said it for a few weeks now, go with the big defender. Shout out to NRL.com, who didn't put out any of the minutes played for any players except for Ethan Strange. They updated him to 70. So cheers for that.
The sim, they caught the sim bin.
Yeah.
I didn't even think he played 70 though.
I
No, he
highly
didn't.
doubt he did.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy, though.
Good news for you, though, Timmy, that he got off as well, because it was a you get put on
fine,
report for that. Just was a fine,
Yeah,
but
huge win.
Yep.
I thought Josh Papali'i looked unreal. Obviously, returned last year, obviously from that World Cup and whatnot. I think it was, they mentioned it in commentary that a couple of guys returned with a bit of putting on him last season. He looks unreal at the moment, Josh Papali'i. I thought his opening 20-minute stint was fantastic.
He's so good.
Yeah, what I'm excited for Papali'i is, and I don't know if we all kind of felt this, but I felt like he was almost winding his career down. Like, it was almost, an aging warrior where we all went, mate, thank you so much for your service. You've been incredible. You deserve to just chill. You've done so much. You're such a good forward. And then to come back like this, it's like, hang on a sec. Maybe we're not done here. Maybe there is 2 or 3 years left in a guy like Papali'i.
Notoriously comes back from the off-season with a couple of extra kegs on him. That's fine. Most front rowers do.
Indulges.
Big Papa, as Guru said, looked as trim as he's ever come back. So he's ready for a big one, I think.
And I think it's about 8 kilos apparently he's lost. And I guess, and if he does want to extend his career, that's how you're going to do it. Is lightening up a bit. And getting through your work.
And
Cut
the
down on
beauty
the
of this
Canberra milk and the Kingsleys.
Yeah,
New regime.
The beauty of this is that, if he does play for another 2 or 3 years, you don't need him playing 50, 60 minutes. You've got the pack where he plays 30, and it's a solid 30.
but can also do the 50-60 if you need it.
If you get to the back end of the season, especially, and you need someone to turn to, he's your guy. What do we make of Smithies? I thought he was really good.
Yeah, I didn't mind him.
Was on.
Geez, he's like another guy that's like just looks like a Raiders player.
Yeah.
Like in the way he plays, just his style of play looks like the way like Ricky loves just a guy that will just always goes to the game rather than waiting for the game to come to him.
A little bit of ball playing in him as well,
Yeah.
which is exactly what we need to see from a Raiders 13.
Yeah, Tim didn't like him when they first signed him, but he's come around to him, which is
I
good.
think I recall him saying that actually.
Yeah.
It's, who the fuck's this Morgan guy?
It's really potent.
Spin.
Yeah, fucking Englishman. That's what
Hammy's the
I
one
heard
who
him
hates
say.
Englishmen, not me.
No, he didn't say that. I'm just joking. I'll tell you what, Ricky's ability to get the English firing, pretty bloody good. Good. But yeah, Morgan Smith, I also think that he's going to be a kind of player that, like a slow burn, not in regards to performances, but a while for fans to realise all the little things that he does. You know, it's not going to come out and be a Victor Adley or even a Cheese, but you're going to get 14 rounds in and go, I cannot imagine anyone else running out in that jersey.
By round 14, he's every chance to have no try assists, no tackle breaks, but he's also probably made 900 tackles without a miss.
Where does this put Big Red though? Would you keep Red at 13 or put him in the front row?
I need to see more of Smithies at actual NRL level in competition. I think the beauty of it is we've got 2 or 3 games for him to be trialled there and see how he goes. And if he's good enough, Big Red moves to front row. If he doesn't, comes back at 13.
Because you could go Papali'i, Big Red, Tarpany at 13.
Yeah, Tarpany, Red. There's heaps, many options.
So many options. But as I said, I think that Morgan Smithies, whether he starts at 13 or he comes off the bench, his role in the team as a Raiders fan, you're going to be like, I can't imagine anyone else playing that role that he does.
He feels like one of those guys, even if he comes off the bench, I feel like when he comes on, he won't come off again.
Yeah.
I feel like Ricky will just leave him out there.
Or like momentum needs changing, or and I think also each week the minute will almost be different that he comes on, because he seems like a player that is a momentum changer. Will they're not big plays, but they're the little 1%ers that just wrangle the momentum back in your favour.
Well, it could be one of those like Jake Chaboyevich types where he hits hard enough and he's so good defensively and his effort areas in defence look terrific. He could change the momentum with his D, which not a lot of players in the NRL do.
Yep, for sure. I thought Trey Mooney, he looks ready to me. He looks like a first grader to me.
First time sort of in a first grade setting that I've been really impressed with Trey Mooney, despite loving him coming through the juniors. It has been a slow burn, but I agree with you, mate. I think he looks up to it now.
Yeah, looks physically like quite imposing out there too. Like yesteryear, you kind of you could see that he was a younger player in NRL. Whereas if you didn't know who he was and you were just watching Trey Mooney go about, you'd be like, oh, that's a first grader. Physically, looked good in contact. I think that he is ready for a big year. Yeah.
God, your hookers are a nightmare. What do you think is going to happen there?
Oh, I think it'll be Levi at 9, Starlock 14. Doesn't, sort of get you too excited, but just going to do a job.
Or old Wolford. Good God.
Yeah.
It's tough down there.
Albert Hopewadi, probably more suited to the wing or centre for me. I think the word is Rapana's going to start at fullback for you boys.
Yep.
Now, who gets the other wing spot, though? Savage.
I think Savage.
Kotrick was all right in the weekend.
Kotrick's come back well.
Yeah.
I'd go Savage, Hopewadi.
Savage Hopewadi. Okay. And then you go Timoko and...
Probably Schiller to start the season until Seb Chris returns.
Okay.
Would you do the same?
Yeah, I think so. I said with Strange putting his hand up to play in the halves, initially I was sort of thinking if KO was at 5'8", Strange would be there round 1, but if Strange is going to be the 6, well then...
The other option, if you're looking for a short-term thing defensively, Zach Hosking played centre for Penrith a couple of times last year and was handy.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Could do worse.
Yeah, so look, pretty promising trial for the Rays. What do you think, Hammy?
Yeah, no, you've covered off on most of them. The only thing I was just going to bring up, what did you think of Timmy's debut? But it's just been covered off. Didn't miss too many tackles there when you came on, mate. You looked pretty good. And Guru just touched on your versatility. There might even slip into the centres.
Yeah, thanks, boys. It's also my birthday today, so...
Is it really your birthday day?
Well, it's Hoskins.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, mate.
Happy birthday, mate.
God, I felt like a real dick there. Sit next to you for 3.5 hours.
Peter Holler, I don't mind him. I think he's bloody got something about him, to be honest.
Got a bit about him.
We have a ridiculous amount of forward depth.
You should just run 13 forwards out, seriously. Just one game, just 13 forwards, just to see how you go. Okay, Eels defeat the Titans 26-16. The score looks like it was a close game. It really wasn't. Eels dominated literally from the first minute, in my opinion. Then they took some of their players off. And look, granted, I think also the Titans also took a few of their players off. So, both. But in regards to, did the Eels ever look like losing that game after the first 10, 20 minutes? Not really. So the Eels looked better than I thought they would. And the Titans looked worse than I thought they would. We'll speak about the positive first with the Eels. I loved Junior Polo coming off the bench. I think that's exactly what they need. I think that, let's assume that they go with that. I think that they may have identified the fact that when you bring RCG and Junior Polo off, it's just too much of a drop-off. It's too much. Whereas if you can kind of negate that, also with the rise of, the big fella in the middle there that's playing really, really well. Ogden, yeah, I think it is Ogden. Where is he?
You got Ofahiki Ogden,
Makatoa.
and you've also got Widemu Greg.
Yeah, Ogden. So Ogden has been really good in these trials. So if he can just hold the fort until Junior Polo comes on, I love the tactic because what did we say last year? Like just running the two front rows ragged, absolutely ragged.
It was something I remember after the grand final, Jimmy Graham was in here and I remember he spoke about the Panthers front row forwards that maybe heading into the future they'd have to split them up, have one coming off the bench. I'd never really thought about it until the weekend with Parramatta, but it might be exactly what they need.
Yeah, look, I think the Panthers get away with it because they almost go, okay, for this 20 minutes, you may get a couple points on us or get a bit of a roll on, but they're going to come back on and absolutely fly off the line at you.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with the Eels, they were playing them for such long minutes. By the time they came back on, they're probably gassed anyway.
The other advantage Penrith have is that they have a couple of front row forwards playing on the sting, so that helps them as well. Parramatta not so lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it, mate. Bryce Cartwright. Bryce's Cartwright, he was flying.
Bryce is Cartwright.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
How good did he look?
He looked amazing.
He was the redemption story last year after years of just like lost all his form, everything that made him great at the Panthers in the early days, signed at the Titans, big money. We know the story. He was terrific last year. He looked even almost better yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, and he looks confident too.
Oh.
Just terrifying.
Yeah, and I think the key is confidence. He looks like that's his edge like spot. No one's taken it, and let me add my kind of flavour to this edge back row role. As long as he can just somehow keep, like as he keeps playing better, just somehow keep a cap on getting ahead of himself. Going, you know what? I just did 2 of the best offloads you've ever seen. I'm about to do 3 more, and 2 of them are going to be a knock on.
Yeah.
As long as he can do that, it's going to be great.
Imagine being a Gold Coast Titans fan watching that yesterday, just going, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. Dylan Brown for me, I really think, like just physically, and look, did he set the world alight? But just the touches he had and just his energy on the ball, I genuinely think he probably, well, not he probably, if I had a Smokey to win Dally M, and I don't even consider him a Smokey, but I think he will Dally M 6 of the year. I think he's in for a massive year.
Yeah, he's looking good, Dill.
Like just physically, he looks imposing as a 6 now. He's even bigger than he was before. Can hit in defence, fast as anything, and he's got a point to prove.
Yeah, he'll have a big year. Solid yesterday. Mitchy Moses, I think his halves partner, outshone him yesterday. Speak, you mentioned confident with Bryce Cartwright. Mitchy looks so confident in his game. Some of those short side raids he did, he was tearing the Titans to pieces.
That try assist with that kick back in, ooh, champagne.
1 try, 226 metres, 31 tackles, 3 offloads. You know who.
Person I discovered, Jaman Hopgood.
He looked like a player who had just sat down with one of his favourite mentors in front of 30 of his nearest and dearest fans and had a recorded chat just to inspire him to a great season. That's what it looked like to me.
I won't take full responsibility for it, but I'm going to take a big whack at it.
I'm also, we know Jaman can get through the work. What I am getting really impressed with him is his hits in defence.
Yeah.
I feel like he's added that to his game where every now and then he'll absolutely, in the All-Stars game he did it. He did it again yesterday. It's an extra part of his game that's a bloody good thing to have as a back rower.
When I did that interview with him the other day, and I know he was with you a few weeks before, he's not that big either. It's incredible what it blew me away actually seeing the size of him. He is tough as nails.
Yeah, I really excited, and I'm sure he is super keen to try and break into that Queensland squad, which can only be good things for the Eels. What I liked about the Eels as well is we talked about being in sync. They looked really in sync. Again, the biggest questions for them is 1 or 2 outside backs, but the positive is Bensini was outstanding.
Yeah.
So if they need a gun outside back to really take it to another level, I thought Bensini was outstanding.
Well, it's going to be a big test start the season. I think Sivo, 3-game suspension. Did he get?
Yeah.
Did we say? I think Bailey Simonson had a hamstring problem. So an already thin outside back group gets thinner. Might see the debut of Blaise Talangi, who I really like.
He did come on towards the end there.
Yep. You've obviously got guys like Hayes Dunster, Assey. You've got Morgan Harper there as well. So the more I talk, the less I think he'll probably debut, actually. But, yeah, I hope he gets a gig.
I hope we see Assey get a start at centre. Love him. More as a half, obviously.
If he gets a start at centre, I reckon he can hold on to it.
You reckon? Gutho, once again, seriously, I just never want to hear someone say he should move from fullback. I hate that chat. I hate it. This idea of we need a game breaker. What are you talking about? He is a game breaker, just not in the normal way. He's a game breaker with his repeat efforts, with his defensive plays.
Ball playing
is amazing. And also, you know what's game breaking? Getting an 8 out of 10 every single week. Every single week. Whether it's a trial or the biggest game of his career, you're getting a minimum 8 out of 10 out of him.
Don't think the chat's going to go away.
Oh, please. Please.
What are we making of the hookers?
Still not convincing either. Lussick had a couple of errors in him that I, obviously as a hooker you just can't really afford to do that in the modern game.
You were sorry. Can we keep going?
I'm still not convinced neither.
If you were going to play one of them for 80 minutes in 2 weeks' time, surely that guy plays 80 minutes this week, doesn't he?
Maybe he's still unsure himself, and that leads to a challenge to each other of who's going to get that role. the hooking is a bit of a concern for me with the Eels heading into this year. When I look at the top tier teams that they should be competing against, and the fact that they're heading into this year still unsure as to who their nine's going to be, a little bit of a concern.
Didn't play finals last year. They've had 4 months to decide who's it's going to be. I would have hoped they would have known by this week.
But maybe that's more because the players just really haven't jumped out.
Yeah.
Or maybe he does know and he just thought, I'm going with Hands or I'm going with Lussick. I just want to get some time into both of them.
Yep, fair. Yep.
Problem is, I think both of them a bit quiet. And look, it's hard as a hooker. Like, does Mitch Moses have such a good game if the hooker isn't giving him good service?
exactly.
So maybe that's the case.
And as you were saying, I think whoever gets that role, they're never going to stand out. They're probably not going to run it too much. Their job will be get good quality ball to Moses, to Dill Brown, to Gutho. They'll make their tackles and do a job and probably play 80 minutes. I don't think they're ever going to stand out. And that's fine. That's the role they play
I
with
don't
that
think he
team.
wants them to stand out.
No.
Yeah.
Either.
See, I just think, though, if you want to win a comp, you got to have a little bit there when you compare it to, like, for example, you look at a guy like Mitch Kenny, who is like the pin-up boy of just good service. He does stand out, though. We see him in defence all the time standing out. At the moment, I'm yet to see that at the Eels where I'm going. There's moments where I see impact, whether it's a tackle defence. Even Billy Walters to a degree. Was he a world beater when he arrived at the Broncos? But he has matches where he genuinely stands out, and goes really well. And that's my little bit of concern is like, I agree with you boys that just good service and get through your work. I think that's good for top 8. Challenge for a premiership, though, needed just a little bit more. Now, both of them, relatively newish hookers, it could take time to build into that. They definitely didn't play bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that if they're in a premiership window right now, they're going to need to just take a little bit more of a step up, in my opinion. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. Tuolangi, another good game, in my opinion. Might really have solved their forward step.
It was great.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row in the trials, he was a standout.
Yeah.
What do we read into there? Do we think Sean Lane plays 80 still?
I don't think he does, no. I think you're going to have to get Tuolangi on the field at some stage. So whether Cartwright or Lane.
Big boy. Like, you could bring him in through the middle, couldn't you?
Kelmer?
Yeah. I mean, he's better on the edge, don't be wrong, but...
Yeah. Just looking at their bench. Maddo.
I
Well, they
like
didn't even
Lane
play.
as an 80-minute edge man.
But I think Tuolangi, it's tough to... You want him to get some
He
minutes.
looked brilliant.
Yeah. He's
Well, I
been
said I'd put him on the bench and just bring him on through the middle.
through the middle. The rotation would be like, Ogden, RCG first, what do you reckon, 20-30? And then Paolo, Tuolangi the next.
Yeah, especially if they do only go with one hooker. They can pick a pretty big bench.
Yeah. Did you just put your hand up, Matty?
Did he play through the middle at all yesterday?
I don't know.
I don't think he did.
He did his damage on the edge. Like, he looked good on the edge.
He's
So
definitely big enough to play in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, he's absolutely big enough.
the fact that he looked like he played on the edge the whole time, maybe that is suggesting he does come on and spell Lane.
Isn't it amazing with Brad Arthur that Isaiah Papali'i, Sean Lane, Bryce Cartwright, Kelmer, all just journeyman underachiever back rowers. They arrive under him and they look a million.
Yeah. I mean, we've spoken about it before, but even Mitch Moses, like, he was going down the route of a 7 with incredible potential, but not even close to achieving it. Now, what do you reckon? Is he a top 3 consistent 7 in the game right now? Consistency?
Yeah,
think so,
consistency,
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Like, he is genuinely one of the most consistent 7s outside of,
DC, Cleary, Hughes, who's sort of
Reynolds.
up and down.
Sorry?
Reynolds?
Reno?
I reckon Moses in the last 2 months has been more consistent than Hughes.
Last 2 months.
The last 2 years, sorry.
Last year,
So what games
definitely.
you been watching?
Big 2 months.
He had a great off-season.
Look, he's up there. And look, right now, it really is a genuine race between him and Cody Walker to get that 6 jersey for New South Wales. So, yeah, huge year. What I love for the Eels too is that, goal for Moses is going to drive him further this year. The fact that he's got a taste of it, he played well, and it's a genuine reality. Whereas if he didn't play as well as he did when he did play for the Blues, I'm sure he'd be sitting there going, well, there's no way I'm taking Cleary's jersey. Whereas now it's like, there's a chance I could play 6 or Cleary plays 6 or whatever. That's good for the Eels. Look, really good for the Eels. Better than I thought they'd go. Still a little bit iffy on depth, but better than I thought they'd go. And this team absolutely can be in the 8. Like, absolutely. There's no denying, no doubting that this team is good enough to be in the 8. Onto the Titans. I'm going to be honest. I was actually really disappointed with the Titans. Not the result, not that they can score points. I just thought I'd see more from their forward pack. Like, I was heading into this game going, I can't wait to see their forward pack really take it to the Eels. And I just thought they lacked a lot of energy in the middle that I thought was going to be there. Just trying to look now. So you've got Fodawaker 71 metres, Palacia 17 metres. I wonder whether he didn't play that many minutes.
2 runs, wasn't it?
He mustn't have played many minutes.
Yeah.
He must have been taken off. Tino, as usual, 147 metres. Interesting, he's looking to play Tino 13 rather than front row. I just was a little bit disappointed with the forward pack, to be honest. Just the energy wasn't there. Not necessarily the result or whatever. I just thought they were going to come out all guns blazing.
I agree, mate. And look, obviously they're missing Fafita, Foz, Jaden Campbell. But I agree with you. I thought the middles would really dominate through this game. I thought it was a really good matchup against Parramatta to see how they'd go. And, underwhelming. And I just thought defensively, maybe we've built up the whole Desi Hasler thing a little bit too much in our heads. But I just thought there'd be a little bit more resolve in them.
Yeah. It's just like, surely... Look, it's just a trial, so these things can happen and combinations, and Foz wasn't out there and Fafita wasn't out there. But you want to turn a corner at some point, and at the moment, they look like, the Titans that we know.
Yeah.
Jeez, it just emphasises how big an impact Kieran Foran has on this team in both attack and defence. The way he holds up that left edge defensively, massive, but they just didn't look overly potent in attack like we had seen them the last 12 to 18 months. As you said, it was a pretty damn strong team they fielded. Man, they miss Foran. I can't wait to see, obviously, back from the ACL injury, Bo Fermor played on that left edge. I think the combination just early on in the year with Foran, because he runs one of the best lines in the game, Fermor, with Fafita out, I'm excited for that. But Foran will change so much for them.
I thought he was pretty good on return.
Yeah, he looked fine.
He looked good.
Who's that, sorry?
Go for more.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Tino, once again, super impressive. I mean, when does Tino ever start play a bad game? Seriously. Hopefully, Fodawaker isn't going to rest on his really good year last year. Hopefully, he's going to continue that standard. What did we think of Brimo at centre?
I'm hesitant to be too critical because it is, the first real hit out there. He'll obviously get better as he goes, but I think he had 10 touches of the football, 12 touches of the football. I want more.
I think Foz will probably maybe bring him into the game, like force that.
He's on the other edge,
on the
though.
other
No,
side.
I know that, but what I'm saying is just like with a game plan, Foz leading it, I think it'll be directed more.
Yeah, I
as
hope
in-
so. Yeah.
I'd assume anyway. Look, I thought he was quite good, to be honest. I thought he was quite good. Multiple moments where he either did break the line, obviously that try, other moments where he got close to scoring, or I thought he was still potent. I agree with you. I want him to see the ball more.
12 touches of the ball.
Yeah. Obviously, you want more than that.
Didn't miss any tackles,
Yeah, that's good.
so that was good. But I just wonder if it's a bit of a feels like a bit of a waste of him in the
Can't
centres.
help but feel like he's wasted
Yeah.
there so much.
Yeah.
Did well though, all that considered.
Yeah, I thought he was all right on this. I thought he was good in the centres. I guess it's hard to really judge it, though, because Jaden Campbell's not there. So it's like, we're at the moment, Keno Kinney is obviously a rookie, but like you can't see the genuine trade-off. So if Campbell's there, you can go, all right, Campbell killed it, so it's worth moving Brimo there because we get this there. Whereas even though, Kinney was solid, he was just solid. He's not at the moment. He's not at Campbell's level in first grade.
I think it should also be noted, 26 points to 16. Titans missed all 4 conversions. You chuck on half of those, it's a bit of a closer game all of a sudden.
Yep.
But performance-wise, I think that the scoreline, despite the goal kicks, flooded the Titans a little bit.
Well, I think it's because if this is the Titans that the normal Titans, we go, yeah, whatever, 26-16, not too bad. I think me personally, I'm really excited about this Titans.
Yep.
That's it. The standard I'm judging this Titans side by is much higher than the standard I used to judge the Titans by.
Like I was a bit reserved with the Sharks and no Nico, I think they'll look like a completely different side when Foz comes back in.
I think it's just mainly the forward pack that I was really just keen to see them go up against a strong forward pack in RCG, Paolo, Sean Lane, Cartwright, and I just didn't see energy. I wanted more energy, big hits, line speed, all that stuff.
Similar to, I think they played the Dragons round 1, we said earlier. And the Dragons pack looked great the other night, so hopefully they stand up in that one.
Hopefully Desi is also a guy that doesn't really care about trials. And
well, traditionally he is.
He does care about trials?
No, he doesn't. Like,
Okay.
like back in the day with Manly and Canterbury and stuff, they tended to not go too well in trials, so fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
When the tea hits.
Alrighty, boys. We all done or what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's call it a day.
If we don't make it back, myself and Guru in one piece, thanks for everything. It's been great.
Yeah, Vegas. Hey?
See if you can hold this show together next week, yeah? Without us two.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Pop the kettle on, Matty. Sounds like you're going to need a bit of tea in here.
Stay safe, boys. Enjoy it. Don't have too much fun because then we'll be jealous. Yes, we will spend at least 20 minutes putting shit on you next week, so just expect that.
Business as usual then?
Yeah, business as usual. Enjoy, boys. And guys, Bloke Could Be Anything shirts on bloke.shop. Plus, the Dolphins, KO, live show, March 17th, Sunday. Go to the link in the show notes, podcast, YouTube. Click it. Only 60 spots available. A full day with us watching rugby league, plus a live show with a guest. All that good stuff. As usual, go and fuck ourselves. Thank you.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.